This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. It's a day game at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and the Cardinals looking to avoid a three-game sweep. Game number 3, the Mets and Cardinals on Bally Sports. And welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Brad Thompson with us. Alexa Dat as well. And Brad, it's Steven Matz on the mound for St. Louis in year 1 of a 4-year deal. Mets had interest in him in the offseason. He's pitched for them before, so maybe a little extra special today.
Yeah, for sure. Their owner, Steve Cohen, was none too happy when he signed the 4-year deal with the Cardinals, but the Cardinals were, hey, first outing didn't go great. Surrendered 7 runs, was dealing with a blister in that one. The last 2 against the Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds. Steven Matz has been on point. Great feel for the off-speed, and he is spotting up those fastballs.
Well, we saw Jordan Hicks last night pitch into the 3rd, did not record an out. And then it was the bullpen after that. They gave up a run in 7 innings of work. Overall, the bullpen this year has been a bright spot.
They really have been, and you knew coming in they were going to be a strength. Great to see some surprises like Andre Palante ate up some innings. Nick Wickren with the scoreless, and you know what Giovanni Gallegos can do. This bullpen has been solid.
Steven Matz, Carlos Carrasco. The Mets and the Cardinals. Can the offense get going? It's game number 3, and it comes your way next on Bally Sports.
For baseball at Busch Stadium, and you see Paul Goldschmidt and the Cardinals trying to avoid the sweep this afternoon as they take on the Mets for the 3rd and final time in this series. Speaking of Goldschmidt and the offense, well, obviously off to a terrific start in the first 9 games, but how much things have changed, unfortunately, for the Cardinals over their last 7 games. How about just 1 home run in their last 7? But the hard hit rate is still the same. Hopefully more of an uptick for the Cardinals as they can finish off the month of April on a strong suit. Meanwhile, one of the hottest hitters for the Cardinals right now with most of the silent bats has been Paul Goldschmidt. It started last Friday against the Cincinnati Reds, and it has continued as he had 1 of the 3 hits for the Redbirds last night against the Mets, as he is on a 5-game hitting streak and almost batting .500 over the last 5 games for the Cardinals first baseman. Goldie and the Cardinals will be facing another tough starter as Carlos Carrasco gets the start this afternoon for the Mets. When we come back, we'll take you around the league as we continue to get you ready for the first pitch between the Cards and the Mets from downtown St. Louis.
And that has been the Mets all this season and last night. Hit multiple times. Scary situation there with Pete Alonso hit on the head. Leads us to the Liberty Mutual Insurance field coverage. And so this is not foreign to baseball early in a season, Brad.
No, especially now. Look, pitchers are still getting a feel for things. You know the home runs can fly. You got to be able to pitch inside, but you understand the Mets' frustration getting hit as many times as they have.
The Mets off to a fabulous start. They're 14-5. Group hugs for everybody the first 2 nights. What about today? It's the Cardinals. It's the Mets. First pitch comes your way next. Ball on Bally Sports Midwest, brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And brought to you by Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. Homestand continues this afternoon, Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And the Mets looking for a 3-game sweep. It's been an entertaining series. And this afternoon it is 66 degrees. Brad Thompson, Alexa Dat, Dan McLaughlin with you. And the fans filing into Busch. Steven Matz, the former Met, and going against his former team here today, Brad. And I don't care if you've been in the game for a long time, you always have something a little extra for a team that you once represented.
There is, for sure. It's not the first time he's faced the Mets. Faced them once last year. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Steven Matz. The fastball, really been doing a good job of getting that in on righties. 2 different breaking balls and the changeup, really his secondary pitch. He faced the Mets last year in July, ended up going 5 2/3, did pick up the L in that one, but you're absolutely right. There's something else there. You know some of these guys, they know you. There's something personal about it.
Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, Escobar, Canna, Davis, Guillorme, and Nito, the lineup for the Mets. And Buck Showalter, they're off to a very good start, 14-5, and in first place already in the National League East as we play on this Wednesday, April 27th of the 22 season. First pitch taken for a ball, and we're underway. Nimmo hitting .275 with 3 home runs, and he's driven in 5 in center field today. Third baseman today for the Cardinals, Edmundo Sosa, playing in. And serving as the designated hitter for St. Louis, it's Nolan Arenado. So that's one of the changes defensively for the Cardinals.
Yeah, going through a big stretch here of a lot of games, no days off. Got to be able to get some of these guys off their feet, but you love the ability to keep the bats in the lineup. Specifically, Nolan Arenado has been as hot as anybody this year.
Do you think when they exchanged lineup cards, the umpiring crew did talk to both teams about what happened last night and if there's any carryover to today?
I would have to believe they did. And if you missed last night, warnings on both sides. 5 players hit in the ball game, and none appeared to be intentional, but players hit nonetheless. 18 batters have been hit for the Mets so far this year, so I would assume they talked that over.
And that is hit out of play. Mets last year were 77-85. We talked about it the other night. 103 days in first place, the National League East, and then they became the first team ever to have that many days in first and finish with a losing record. Spoiled again. They had a club record, nearly 70 players used. The 14 doubleheaders, most by any team since 1979, and it caught up with this team in September, undoubtedly. Pitch number 7 by Mats to Brandon Nimmo. Breaking ball popped up left side, and the battle continues to start this game.
Nimmo's making him work, that's for sure. Brandon Nimmo comes into action today. He's hitting .333 with a home run. I think Cardinal fans remember the home run off of TJ McFarland against left-handers. So he sees them well. Really likes to go the other way. You can tie him up in. But for Steven Matz, his best pitches are on the outer half to lefties. Rides that four-seam out there, slider as well.
The 2-2 spoiled again.
You can see that swing right there. That's exactly what Nimmo wants to do. That inside pitch, he'll go inside out, especially if you have velocity. The one that he hit out of the ballpark against TJ McFarland, it was a sinker in off the plate, but it was 86 miles an hour. He was able to get the head to it. He's not getting the head to 95 off of Steven Matz.
Big gap in right center. And the 2-2 pitch. Boy, this would be just infuriating as a starting pitcher to have this guy just keep battling. And Matt's now going to the 10th pitch to start this game. You've been there. You've done that, Brad.
So you're wasting my bullets here. And
exactly.
That's the job. And you talked about this the other day. That's what the Mets needed.
Swing and a miss, and the ball game starts with a strikeout. 10 pitch at bat. And Steven Matz gets the strikeout of Brandon Nimmo.
And he gets the strikeout with the big curveball, a pitch that wasn't there for him in his Busch Stadium and Cardinal debut. He couldn't finish the off-speed, finishes this one well, sped him up with 95 inside, and then dropped that thing in there. Really nice pitch by Steven Matz, and a good at-bat by Nimmo, to your point. Figuring out ways to make him throw more pitches, elevate that pitch count a little bit for Steven Matz. Now it's time to get some quick outs.
Here's Starling Marte showing bunt and taps it foul for strike 1.
I guess the thought would be there for Marte. You know he can move a little bit. You say anytime we get to face the Cardinals and it's not Nolan Arenado at third, maybe I'll take a chance. That's no slight at Edmundo Sosa. It's just the fact that he's not Nolan Arenado.
They make some sense. Test him early. Why not?
Exactly.
0-2. The Cardinals playing in game number 17. Home game number 7 and a record of 9-7. They have dropped 3 consecutive games for the first time this year. 0-2 the count on Starling Marte. Inside. They had 30 wins, the Mets did, on the road last year. Fewest for the Mets in a full season since 2009. Different story, though. Different leadership. Different team. Ground ball. Mets did not get a piece of it, thankfully. Into the glove of DeYoung, over to Goldie, and out number 2. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center, so Sosa is at third base today. DeYoung at short. Edman, Goldie on the right side. Yadier Molina behind the plate. O'Neill, Carlson, Dickerson in the outfield. The switch hitting Francisco Lindor. You know, Matz went for that ball, didn't get it. And I would assume as much as teams change with the shift pitch to pitch, you know, Brad, that's tough on a starting pitcher. Number one, or any pitcher. You know, it's natural instinct to go after the ball, but then guys are shifting with every single count. So where are they behind me to where you're thinking I got to go get this?
I think it's just another thing you have to pay attention to. I mean, I know it's enough having these major league hitters you have to get out, but you have to know where these guys are behind you, where they're positioned, and know when to make a stab for something as you have a shift, a dramatic one on one side, and the ball's hit to the other side, and when to let it go.
Yeah. 2-1 pitch to the switch hitting Lindor, fouled back. Comes in with a .274 batting average. He's popped 4 home runs and he's driven in 12. So if you go back to September of last year and the start of this year, 13 home runs in about a month and a half for Lindor. He had 9 last September. Hits it to second baseman Tommy Edman, and following the 10 pitch at bat and the strikeout of Nimmo, Matz is able to get Marte to ground to short. Lindor to second. No score after a half inning. Quiet here recently. Tommy Edman at the top. Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, Dickerson. He's in right field today. Dylan Carlson, the center fielder. DeYoung, Molina, and Sosa. Starting 9 for St. Louis against Carlos Carrasco. And he gets the call today for the New York Mets.
I think that many people forget how long the 35-year-old Carrasco has been doing it. 11 years with Cleveland. Came over in the Lindor deal. Had an injury-marred 2021, but a really nice start to the 2022 campaign.
Shift for Tommy Edman, and the first pitch is a strike. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for this right-hander.
A good fastball, spots it up well. Changeup, slider, curveball. He has been throwing a ton of strikes. Only 2 walks on the season so far for Carrasco, so look for him to be in the zone.
Cardinals have been facing very tough pitching, starting with the road trip in Milwaukee. And since then, they're only hitting 198. Cardinals did not score a run in 33 combined innings with Brandon Woodruff, Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, and in this series the starters Max Scherzer, there he is, and Chris Bassett. So they're seeing very good starting pitching, and they've been unable to get after him. The 1-2. Toyota, key to the game.
You laid it out perfect right there, Dan. So the key here is manufacture some runs. The Cardinals early on in the season, they were hitting home runs, scoring a bunch of their runs that way. Well, they've only got 1 home run in the last 8 games. You've been facing tough pitching. Carrasco is tough. You got to figure out ways to get guys on, get them over, get them in. You can't be relying on the long ball. We've seen the ball is not traveling right now.
So just 1 home run in the last 8, none in the last 6. And right now a 3-game losing skid and only 3 runs scored in 27 innings. So trying to change that here today. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The switch hitting Tommy Edman. Edman pulls it foul. Chris Bassett not shy in his comments after the game last night in the Mets clubhouse about the baseball. And he said, paraphrasing here, he said MLB has got to do something about the baseball. You might go out in the first inning and it feels good. Second inning, terrible. Third inning, it's all right. He said every single inning he feels like the baseball has a different grip and a change. And there's a strikeout to start the game for Carrasco of Tommy Edman.
Oh, and as a pitcher, all you want is consistency. And this is, I mean, this is a guy that he wasn't coming up with an excuse. He dealt against the Cardinals, but it was on the heels of 5 different guys in the ball game getting hit. He had a couple of close calls too. He had one up and into Dylan Carlson. He almost got Nolan Arenado with one. And he's saying, look, the feel is not there, and hitters are feeling it too. Look across the board. So you have guys getting hit at a fairly high rate, and then you have offense down. So what are all these changes benefiting? Like, is it helping the game?
So every ballpark has the humidor, and for the longest time you might see that being used, certainly in Denver with the Rockies. You go to Arizona, they talked about the humidor. Now every ballpark is using that to try to stay on an equal playing field for what you have. However, as Bassett said, you've got different climates, you've got different situations where the dimensions of the ballparks are different. But bottom line, he wants to have a consistent feel of the baseball. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike on Paul Goldschmidt.
I believe as part of some of the new rules that they're implementing in the minor leagues, and this might be happening more in the second half, they're going to try to get a uniform baseball that is tactified like they're using overseas, and they're going to attempt that. But I mean, that makes all the sense in the world to me.
Hitters will tell you they would prefer that if you had to have sticky substances in the game, at least in the first month, to have a little bit for the pitcher so that a ball doesn't get away like we saw last night and hit the head of Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I think that there's a difference between a tiny bit of grip and then spider tack.
Exactly.
And and the spin rates bear that out too. We can quantify all these things. When somebody has a huge spike in their spin rates, and you could generally a new grip isn't going to jump you up 400 RPM. So I think that there are different ways to look at this, but at the end of the day, you want the pitchers to have a feel for the ball, and you want the hitters to believe that they can dig into the box and have a chance.
The 2-2 pitch inside, and a full count on Paul Goldschmidt. Tyler O'Neill on deck. I think a lot of the frustration of the fan base is pointing to the production of what's going on at the shortstop position. And it hasn't been great, but there's also other aspects of this Cardinal lineup that has to pick it up. Whether you're talking about the trio in the outfield, Goldie does not have a home run. I mean, there's different spots to look at in this lineup that has to pick it up.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot easier just kind of focus on the couple of guys that are swinging it well. Nolan is swinging it well. Tommy Edman swinging it well.
Yeah.
And other than that, across the board, there's been largely struggles.
That one catches Tomas Nido on the foul tip by Goldie. May have gotten him on the left foot. Nido started game 1 last night. Brian McCann, he had 3 hits, and Nido back in there for game 3. Take a look. Ouch.
We were talking about this the other day. I just don't know as a youth player how you say, yeah, put me in that stuff. I'll do that. We're the toughest guys out there. I tried it a couple of times, Dan. I would blink every single time a pitch would come and a swing would be coming, and just taking fastballs off the chest, it wasn't worth it for me.
I did it a lot, but I figured that was the only way I was going to play. No one else wanted to do it. Fly ball out to center. Even that ball right there, it just dies, and you could see that Nimmo actually started running towards the gap and taking an angle that would have been way deeper than where he caught that, and that is out number 2. Canna, Nimmo, Marte in the outfield. Round the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Davis, Lindor, Guillorme, Alonso on the infield, and Tomas Nido behind the plate. Here's Tyler O'Neill. Strike 1. Hitting an even 200. 1 home run. That was on opening day. And 10 runs batted in. Nothing in 2. Matt's had 19 pitches in the first inning, and this would be number 19 here for Carrasco. The 0-2. Left side and past the diving J.D. Davis, and then looked to be maybe under the glove of Lindor, and a base hit for Tommy Edman, or for rather Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the diving J.D. Davis screened Francisco Lindor on this one and just lost it at the end. Either way, Cardinals got something cooking with Tyler O'Neill being on base, and Lindor just shorted that one. I don't like his chances of being able to get O'Neill either way.
Well, I marked it down as a base hit to left. Here at the ballpark, they say it's an error, but as you well know, Brad, I am the official scorer of my own scorecard.
Dan, know this. I use pen and pen only, and I've got it as a single.
All right. So we're on the same page.
Yeah, until it changes.
Here's Nolan Arenado, the designated hitter. And there's strike one. So a 2-out base hit by O'Neill. In steps Arenado. It's cooled a bit after a red hot start. And the 0-1. Hit out of play. Last season, MLB hitters homered every 27 at bats. So far this year, it's about 37 every 37 at bats. It's dropped dramatically. What a piece of hitting there by Arenado to go the other way. O'Neill stopping at second base as the ball scoots away from Lindor, and the Cardinals have runners at first and second. The way that Tyler runs, figured for sure he'd be at third base, but with his speed should be able to score on a base hit.
Yeah, thought that he was going to go for sure. This is a slider. It's down and away. It's a good pitch. It's a better swing by Nolan Arenado, and Nolan just had a good idea after the first couple of pitches. It was a fastball way, then a slider, that he was going to go that way again. Drops the head on it. Tyler O'Neill there hits the brakes.
Runners at first and second. Corey Dickerson. Dickerson has had a little success just punching it the other way. Did that a couple of times on the road trip. And there's strike one. Cardinals really looking for somebody to emerge from this side of the plate. Right-hander on the mound in the DH spot.
Well, it was Dickerson, has been Dickerson. Lars Nootbaar got a couple of looks. Now Lars had been sent down. Brendan Donovan was in the mix yesterday, playing first base, getting Goldie off his feet, allowed him to DH. But you're right, they need somebody here. They need that left-handed complement.
It's 0 for 10 head-to-head against Carrasco. Sometimes guys think, all right, 0 for 10, I'm going to simplify it, bat to ball, go the other way. Don't pull off pitches. That happens a lot.
Yeah, well, when you do that, you do exactly what you're talking about with Dickerson. You have a wide open left side. So if he pitches you something away, you're doing them a favor if you try to pull it.
Count of 2-1 with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Beautiful spring day here in St. Louis. Not a cloud in the sky for day baseball. A nice crowd on hand. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
It's that one right there. If you let that travel, shoot it the other way. Like to see this team be aggressive in the zone on fastballs.
Mets with a shift on the right side. Long inning here for Carrasco. Pitch number 27 here in the bottom of the first.
A lot of change-ups in this spot. Got to stay back.
And it is a base hit into right center. Cardinals grab an early lead. Tyler O'Neill scores, and Corey Dickerson with a 2-out single, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
A couple of fantastic at-bats in a row. Nolan Arenado stays down on a slider. This one is a slider, hangs up a bit. And just a great job of staying back on this thing. That's what the Cardinals need. It's something early in a ball game. Get a little bit of momentum. Put pressure on a starting pitcher.
And here is Dylan Carlson. Snaps it 0 for 12 for Dickerson against the Mets. 3 consecutive hits after Carrasco got the first 2. And a ball outside to Dylan Carlson in center field today. Jeremy Riak calling the balls and strikes. Charlie Ramos down at first. Alan Porter at second. Mark Wegner, the crew chief, is at third. The umpires today. The exaggerated shift here for Dylan Carlson. Hits it to the right side. Guillorme makes the play. Cardinals strand a pair, but they grab an early lead. Dickerson, 2-out single to score O'Neill, 1-0. Also a New York native, Steven Matz. More on that. Alexa Dad. Hello, Alexa.
Hi, Danny Mac. Yes, Matz got to face the Mets when he was with the Blue Jays last year, and obviously again here today. He said having spent so much time in that Mets organization takes that competitive advantage that he has to the next level. I caught up with a few Mets, Dom Smith, saying he loved catching up with his old teammate, but he hated facing him during spring training. Said Matz would crush lefties like me. Pete Alonso told a great story. There was an off day and a charity event Alonso held, and he invited the whole team, and Matz was the only guy to show up. He said he was one of the best guys to be around. That sentiment is definitely echoed in the Cardinals clubhouse as well, gentlemen.
Absolutely. And talking with many of the Cardinals that are just getting used to being around Steven Matz, they mentioned not only do they think he's talented, but a wonderful guy. So you're not going to find a nicer guy in the game of baseball than the guy on the mound, Steven Matz.
I think it's something that you really have to factor in when you're signing somebody to a multi-year deal. Not just what he could do for you on the field, but what he is like off the field. It matters. It really does when you're trying to build a championship team.
1-2 pitch to Alonso, base hit into right. You know, last night he was hit on the helmet by a changeup from Cody Whitley. And that was the second time, Brad, here in the first 3 weeks of this season, he's been hit in the face area. He's got that face guard that protects the jaw. He was hit earlier in the season on that, then hit last night. I think not only was the immediate was he upset, but it's also, I think, mounting the frustrations of getting hit in the head 2 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah, you understand that, right? And you know that a changeup, the guy's not trying to hit you, but it's more about the action than the intent. I mean, it happens, and you've been hit 18 times as a team, and you've been hit in the head twice. So the frustrations were mounted, sides were heated. It's going to happen in the game of baseball. You just try to stay out of that area.
Cardinals with 17 double plays turned this year, 3 last night, and it's 0-2 on Escobar. One of the things about Matz I did not realize is his velocity. His velocity is up a tick or 2 this year. I didn't see it in spring training, but I saw it from his first start here at Busch.
And it's easy velocity.
Yeah.
It's 95. Skip Schumacher, as he was managing early, filling in for Ollie.
Popped up left side, long way to go. Who wants it? Nobody. It drops. Bermuda Triangle out there with O'Neill, DeYoung, and Sosa. So no one gets to it. It's a bloop single for Escobar. And the first 2 have reached here in the top of the second inning.
Not a hard hit ball at all on a changeup. Just loops out there, and Tyler O'Neill breaks back initially.
And that's the key there on that play.
It is. It is. You're going to have to get a perfect jump to get it. As you mentioned, Bermuda Triangle, that thing landed in the perfect spot. But if you do get a good jump, you got a chance to make a Gold Glove type play. Going back to the velocity with Steven Matz, as Skip Schumacher was filling in for Ollie as he was sick at the beginning of the year, he just said he throws 95 and plays catch with it.
Yeah.
Just so easy to repeat that. And especially the success that he's been having in his last 2 outings against the Brewers and the Reds of throwing that fastball inside, just spotting that thing up to right-handers.
Here's Mark Canha, the left fielder, and a breaking ball on a strike. The Mets 9-3 on the road this year, and that is the best winning percentage in the major leagues thus far. Last year they started 2-10 in their first 12 games away from Citi Field. Here's the 0-1 pitch by Matz. That pitch there, because he crossfires just a bit, Brad, as you know, and if he can get in on the righties, he's going to have great success.
He will. That is a pitch that just continues to bore in on you. It's not a straight fastball. It's coming right at you. And then he just started Ken off with the breaking ball for a strike away. So you're trying to cover both sides. It makes you very uncomfortable. And that pitch right there really opens up. If you want to throw your changeup down and away, or you want to backdoor your slider, you could do it.
The 0-2 went back in and missed. Molina held it there just for a moment. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. For the Mets, it was their 6th series victory of the season last night. And that is their best start ever in winning series to begin any season in their history. Right now, a 4.5 game lead. The Cardinals, second place in the Central, 1 game back, 9-7. Inside again, 2-2. Steven Matz, originally selected by New York. Second round in 2009 out of Ward Melville High School in New York, and pitched parts of first 6 seasons with the Mets. He was born in Stony Brook, New York. I did a basketball game at Stony Brook. Beautiful little area.
Really?
I did. NIT against the Fighting Illini a few years ago. The place was packed. They had just made the transition to Division I. And so this was a big thing for Stony Brook.
Of course.
And they went to the National Invitational Tournament. NIT. Can't believe you don't remember.
That's my fault. You know what I'm going to do after this game? I'm going to go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to.
Heck of a game. Off the plate outside. So does he get the call? 3-2. Arizona will be here tomorrow. Dakota Hudson. And he will go against the Diamondbacks in game 1. First of 4. And on the 3-2 delivery, it is popped up. Yachty, he wants it. Sosa there as well. And it's Sosa in foul territory. Edmundo Sosa makes the play for the first out. Stream out of market regular season games live or on demand, plus MLB Big Inning and select pregame and postgame coverage. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Credit Sosa for that one right there. You had Yachty calling that thing loud, but it was a much easier play for Sosa coming in on it. Didn't have to turn his back to it. Good job there by taking control.
There's J.D. Davis. Celebrating his 29th birthday today. 6 for 23 to begin the year. Double home run. A couple of runs batted in. Overall, the Mets have had 16 players who have homered on their birthday in franchise history. Jeff McNeil was the last to do so April 8th at Washington. One out and 2 on. Up and in to J.D. Davis. Popped a home run against Arizona in their first stop on this road trip. Missed more than half of the season. He was dealing with a hand injury, left hand, and torn a ligament. Had surgery on that. So he had 15 games before the All-Star break and then landed on the IL. So he's been kind of injury plagued in his career with the New York Mets and thought of highly. And they've stuck with him, but coming off the bench now for Buck Showalter.
It's always frustrating. You feel like you have a path. You know where your career is going. Your body just doesn't let you do it.
3-0 the count. By the way, do not overlook the Arizona Diamondbacks in terms of their pitching. Pitching has been very good.
I believe it's the second best starter's ERA in baseball currently.
Humberto Castellanos goes tomorrow. Mad Bum is scheduled for the series. There's a strike. Merrill Kelly and Zach Davies, former Brewer and Cub. Cardinals line up with Hudson, Wainwright, Michaelis, and Hicks. I would say Friday night, if you're looking to go to one of the games, you got Mad Bum on the mound, lefty. That means Albert in the lineup, Waino on the mound, Yachty behind the plate. Friday night here at Busch.
Sounds like a recipe for success right there. And Mad Bum, one of the better competitors in all of baseball. How about that pitch that Steven Matz just dropped in 3-0 on Davis? 3-0 curveball. You got two guys on. I like that.
We talked about it yesterday. The difference from the minor leagues, AAA, to this level. Being able to have that pitch and the one before behind in the count, throw it for strikes.
Yeah, and you wonder sometimes, like, hey, this guy hit in the minor leagues. What's going on here at the big league level? Why isn't it translating? It's because of that. These are hitters' counts. 3-1, you get a hammer at the bottom of the zone. See if you can finish him off here. Throwing the same thing.
Luis Guillorme is on deck. Pulled foul. Well, they want to talk about it. Make sure they're on the same page. And that's not only to make sure you're on the same page to understand what's coming, but have conviction with this pitch. This is a big pitch early.
It's been 3 curveballs in a row. He squares that one up. Now, in fairness, that one was up a little bit. You know how good he is at tying up right-handers in. Think about slowing him down with 3 breaking balls in a row. I like the idea of busting him in with the heater now.
So it started 3-0, then back-to-back breaking balls. Davis gets back in. He's at third base today. Runners at first and second with one out here in the top of the second. There it is. He struck him out. The fastball in and tied him up just enough.
It's a perfect pitch. You slowed him down with 3 breaking balls. You start 3-0 and you come back all the way to get him. J.D. Davis has his struggles against fastballs, specifically against lefties, but you had to set him up to get there. Perfectly done.
Remember spring training, Luis Guillorme faced Jordan Hicks, and Jordan Hicks was coming off injury. And so the idea was, let's get him an inning. Well, Jordan faced Guillorme, and it took 22 pitches, and they got him out of the game.
I'd say it's quality at bat.
I would say so. 22 against Jordan Hicks, and he threw everything against him. 101, 102, slider. I mean, everything.
So, man, I'm just trying to get some work here. And Guillorme said, yeah, I'm helping you.
And he's saying, I'm trying to get work and make this team. The 1-0 pitch. Cardinals got good news on the comebacker hit by Dom Smith off the right wrist of Jordan Hicks. X-rays were negative, so that was good news as he pitched into the third last night but did not record an out in the bullpen. The next 7 innings gave up just 1 run. And a strike, 1-2. So here it was last night. If you missed it, Dom Smith at the plate and a comebacker off the right wrist of Hicks.
Yeah, always scary anytime you see somebody get hit. He finished that inning, came back out for the next, and the rest of that inning, he looked really good, but didn't have time to tighten up yet. You sit on the bench for that half inning. He gets out there, lost his feel the next inning. They were smart to get him out of that game, as you mentioned. Good results on the X-ray, and he'll go get him in a couple of days.
I had asked you too, what happens after that? You said, well, you're okay right now, but then that next half inning it tightens up, and certainly that was the case.
Yeah, the adrenaline is flowing right then. You don't have time. Everything doesn't have time to seize up on you yet.
It'll be a foul ball that catches Molina. Cardinals bullpen led by Andre Palante after that. Gave up just the 1 run, and that was the tail end of the game in the 9th, and that got the right foot toe of Yadier Molina. Palante, by the way, leads the Cardinals relievers with 9 1/3 innings. That's 8th in the National League, and that was a career high 3 innings last night. And his 3 appearances have been at least 2 innings or more. He's turning into a weapon.
He's been valuable. And again, you look at rosters are going to contract here in a couple of days. I think that Andre Palante's done everything that he can to stay in this mix. Now, we all know it's a number game. It's happened to me multiple times in my career where it gets sent down, and not necessarily throwing the ball bad. It's just it was your time. You had options. Other times where I was throwing bad and got sent down. Either way, there are different ways to do it. But you just got to continue to go out. Every time you get an opportunity to make an impression, you try to make a good one. And that's what Palante has done.
Here's a 1-2. Off the glove of Matz. And no play here for DeYoung. Bases will be loaded. Similar to that of the first inning, that the one that gets by him, it's an easy out. This one is able to slow its progress, but still it cost the Cardinals. DeYoung was right there to make that play.
He was right there. That's one though on the that is on the dirt on the mound. It's your human nature to stick your glove down and field that ball, and really Matz should have had that ball. I mean, he'll tell you that's a play that he makes. Get another ground ball though right here.
So the base is loaded. Tomas Nido, the 9th place hitter for the Mets. They're half of the second, and a base hit into center, and the Mets have the lead. 2 runs will score, cut out by Carlson. This will be a double for Nido, sliding in safely at second, and the Mets grab a lead here in the second inning.
An innocent ground ball back to the mound, the batter before, and then a changeup down under the zone, and all of a sudden 2 runs are coming in. Good job by Nido staying down on that pitch. Not a terrible one. Catches maybe a little bit more of the plate than Yachty and Matz wanted.
After that at bat, Tomas Nido is now hitting .538 with the bases loaded in his career. And here we go again with Brandon Nimmo. 10 pitch at bat to start the game, and he was following every delivery, every type of pitch that Matt's had down the left field line. So hey, if you got a ticket down that third base line, be ready.
You got a chance to get something.
You might get a foul ball here. Pitch count is up now. He's gotten 5 outs on 48 pitches. Up and in. Nimmo hits the deck, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, after getting 7 innings out of your bullpen last night, you're going to need a little bit of length here from Steven Matz. I know the rosters are expanded. You have a lot of pitchers, but you don't have days off coming, so you're going to need to get some quicker outs.
Cardinals in a stretch of 20 games in 20 days. Here's a 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You get one at your face, and then he paints.
That's pretty comfortable, isn't it?
It's big league baseball. St. Louis will have DeYoung, Molina, and Sosa coming up. They're half of the second. The 1-2 pitch, and a base hit out to left. 2 runs will score, and it's a 4-1 Met lead. Back-to-back doubles. And all this being done with 2 outs. The infield hit Guillorme to extend it to Tomas Nido. He delivered with the bases loaded. Brandon Nimmo with runners at second and third. He picks up a double.
Yeah, Steven Matz tried to go back to the same spot that he stole the strike on before. It catches a little bit more of the plate. We've talked about Brandon Nimmo in this series. He wants to go that way. That is what he's trying to do. He's going to let it travel and shoot it. So if you're going to go away, you got to make sure you're on the corner or off. That's why we've seen the Cardinals attack him in as much as they have during this series.
Nimmo 7 runs batted in this season, 4 against the Cardinals. sure it's one of those situations too, Brad, where you're, as a pitcher, you're kicking yourself with the Guillorme at bat. You're saying, I should have had that, and if I do make that play, no damage done.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's 4-1.
No, you're right. But you also have to let it go and execute some pitches, and that's that's what it comes down to.
And Marte hits it down the right field line. Foul.
That pitch there to Nimmo, not a bad pitch. It's just he's very good at going that way. That was 94 and caught a little bit more of the plate. I think that you get most guys that are going to roll over on that pitch. He just stays with it so well.
Another aspect of this inning too, the second hitter was Escobar on a ball that hung up pretty long time and dropped for a base hit into left. The 0-1 pitch taken high, 1 ball and 1 strike. That's where the Cardinals have been so good early on. They just don't beat themselves. But right now, nothing going the Cardinals' way, and that's the ups and downs of a long season. 2 strikes on Marte, grounded out to short, first time up.
Well, these are the kind of games, if Steven Matz is able to keep it here, these are the kind of ones that build you up as a team. If you're able to scrap back into this ball game against Carrasco and the Mets, which, by the way, Carrasco didn't have a very economical first inning either. He threw 29 pitches. They really made him work. You're able to battle back. I mean, these are the type of games you need to learn how to win. And with this offense, with the collection of pieces that the Cardinals have, they're games they should win. Should be able to. You should be able to win a bunch of 8-7 ball games if you have to.
Count is even at 2-2, 55 pitches to get 5 out so far for Steven Matz. Off the plate in a full count. Lindor is on deck. They start to stretch a little bit now and move around in the St. Louis bullpen. The 3-2 pitch. And that gets away from Yachty. That'll be a wild pitch. And runners at first and third. Extends the inning to Lindor, the 9th man to come to the dish for the Mets here in the top of the second.
Well, as you showed, the bullpen stirring. Jake Woodford grabs the ball, gets out on the mound, and starts throwing. Not what the doctor ordered here for the Cardinals in Game 3 as you're trying to salvage one against the Mets.
So the righty Woodford up and beginning to throw for St. Louis, and now the switch hitting Lindor grounded out to second base, his first time up. Lindor and Yachty were teammates. The runner-up Puerto Rican team, 2017 World Baseball Classic, and Yachty will be managing in Venezuela this offseason.
How about that? That Puerto Rican team in the WBC, they had no fun.
Fly ball into shallow left and foul. Yeah, they played a game with such a fun spirit, and it makes us, as we watch MLB, and not to say that it's, you know, not being played with a fun spirit. It's different, 162 games, but when you're representing your country, games are on the line, so much meaning, and they're just having a blast out there.
It just kind of makes you feel like you can combine a couple of things.
Sure.
You can combine that passion that they have and try to have a lot of it through 162. But I like the World Baseball Classic.
The 0-2 swung on and missed, and a strikeout, but a big inning for the Mets. They pick up 4 and they pick up a lead, and all the runs scoring with 2 outs. Mobile coverage cam. Beautiful day in downtown St. Louis here in the Midwest. Season just getting started. Baseball back and a lot of fun.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
It'll feel better. You put up a couple of crooked numbers here. Get everybody right back into it.
7, 8, 9 for the Cardinals, and a broken bat hit into shallow left by DeYoung, and Canna is there to make the catch. First out here in the second as Carrasco had a long first inning. Carrasco is 10 wins shy of becoming the 8th pitcher from Venezuela to reach the 100-win milestone. He's 6th all-time in strikeouts by a Venezuelan-born pitcher, over 1,300. All-time leader in wins, by the way, Felix Hernandez. King Felix, in all those great years with the Seattle Mariners.
Such a shame the Mariners just not being in the postseason. It's been since 2001 that they've been a postseason team. Maybe this year's the year.
I think that was the team that had 116 wins.
It was.
There's Yadier Molina. One out and nobody on, and a 1-0 pitch to Yadi. 2 balls and no strikes. Yadi hitting 156, no home runs, no runs batted in. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 home run shy of 172. That would tie Ted Simmons for 9th all-time in franchise history. 2 runs batted in, shy of 1,000 for his career. And the 2-1 popped up. Alonso giving chase along with Nito, and he is there to make the catch. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Tickets for Less.
Tickets for Less. For a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout.
Edmundo Sosa. Well, who would have thought in 06, when really that was the coming out party for Yadi, in my mind, as an offensive player against the Mets in the NLCS. We'd be talking here in 2022 about being 9th all-time in homers in franchise history, and then 2 shy of 1,000 runs batted in. And he's 3 away from Kenny Boyer for 6th in RBI in franchise history. It's amazing.
It is amazing, and there's so much that goes into it, because as you know, when he came up as a young player, 2004, Tony La Russa just said, just catch. You just go catch this team. You take care of this staff. I don't care what you do at the bat. But Yadi wasn't happy just being that one-dimensional player. He continued to work on his craft while, by the way, not giving up anything on the other side when it comes to behind the plate, receiving, throwing, knowing his pitchers, but worked hard to turn himself into a very intelligent, very productive hitter. And you've seen it throughout the years just come to fruition.
The strikeout of Sosa, 5th time he has struck out in the series, 4 the other night against Scherzer, his first today. Easy for the Ozzie Smith Funko Pop. Thanks to Coca-Cola and Schnucks. Cardinals.com/promotions. Mets had a long 2nd inning, 41 pitches. Nice to see the kids starting to make their way out to the ballpark. Two balls and no strikes. Here's Pete Alonso, single to right, scored a run. Mets picked up 4 runs on 5 hits in the top of the 2nd, and the 2-0 pitch. 3-0. So Alonso, 90 home runs in his first 2 full major league seasons. And there's a walk nowhere close. 4 straight. And the 2nd walk issued by Steven Matz. Eduardo Escobar had the bloop hit down the 3rd base line, dropped in for his first hit of the afternoon. Switch hitter, scored a run. See if they can't get Matz back on track here to give them some innings. Pitch number 65, and it swung on and missed.
That's what they need. Escobar's had success against Matz. You mentioned the bloop single. Now total for his career 4 for 7 against him. Comes into action today hitting .357 against left-handers. So very good from this right side. Got to make sure you execute. Love to get a ground ball here.
A 1 pitch, 0-2. Alonso was having a conversation with the first base coach. That's Wayne Kirby as Woodford is throwing. He played in 98 games for AAA Memphis. Did the first base coach of the Mets, Wayne Kirby, then was traded away. And Pop Warner was a teammate of Wayne's, and so is Brian Eversgerd, who was in the St. Louis bullpen coach of the Cardinals. Went to the Mets for Sean Gilbert that season. And Matz picks up his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. There's Mark Canha, came up with 2 on, nobody out, and popped out to third, and in foul territory, catch made by Edmundo Sosa. It was this date in Cardinals history all the way back in 2003. Never forget it. Fernando Vina was 0 for 9 in the same game, and he got an RBI single in the 20th inning, and the Cardinals beat the then Florida Marlins. Longest game in franchise history, and that was at Sun Life Stadium before their new ballpark. He was 0 for 9
coming into the last at bat,
and then got the game-winning hit, RBI.
That ends up just being a great day, is what it is. Memorable day.
Yes. Base hit to right. Alonso to second base. Brad, the game took so long that the flight crew had to be replaced because by law you could only be on the plane for a certain amount of time, and they knew how long the flight was going to be, so they had to get a brand new flight crew. So the game took forever. Then we get on the plane and no one there to take us home. It was a getaway day.
You know what, though? You can handle that a lot more.
If you win.
Yes, exactly. After a win. After a loss, I mean, that's the worst day that you could have. After a win, it's more time to hang out with the boys.
And with J.D. Davis coming up, looks like that's going to be it for Steven Matz, as Jake Woodford has been throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. Ollie will go out, make the change, and Matz had a 1-2-3 first, but in that second inning, they sent 9 to the plate. There's 5 hits, 4 runs to start this inning. A walk, a strikeout, then the base hit to right. And with J.D. Davis coming up, it's at 70 pitches. Now, Ollie has not made the official call, I don't believe.
I saw Steven Matz.
He said he was okay. He said, I feel good.
Well, did you see Ollie turn right there to Yachty, too? He said, Yachty, what do you think? He's making his case here. I'll make it worth it. I like this. I like this with Steven Matz. You've given up a few runs. You got a couple of base runners on. You brought this guy in to be an innings eater. You brought this guy in because you like the mentality and like the way that he goes about his business. Let him work out of something here.
I think with the fact, too, that your starter last night only gave you 2 innings, even though you are expanded in your roster, and you should feel that you can cover 9 innings efficiently, but still, Matz has got to stay in my mind.
Get a ground ball.
Yeah. Swung on and missed by Davis. Came up with 1 on and 2 outs and struck out swinging back in the second inning. And maybe he gets something going here to build on for the next start, too.
I'm with you. I'm with you. See a little fire right here out of Steven Matz.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Missed inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the next to Davis. All the runs were scored by the Mets last inning with 2 outs. Coming into play today, Mets second in the major leagues in 2-out on base percentage, as well as 2-out hits and runs batted in. So they've been tough to put away. Get that final out. And it's runners at first and second with 1 out here. The 1-2 pitch to Davis. A rope out to left, but there's O'Neill. It's a sinking liner, and he makes the catch.
What a play. What a play right there. Those are so difficult as it's sinking. You're coming in on the ball. You got to make sure you judge it correctly. 105.8 miles an hour off the bat.
With a lot of topspin too, so it was sinking hard. Here's Guillorme, who had the infield hit. Frustration on his birthday. He said, "That's my birthday. Come on."
Well, look,
supposed to get down.
The guy that needed a gift is standing on the mound right now.
So Willie McGee always working with the outfielders. I'm sure he appreciates that. So Guillorme had the infield hit on a ball that went off the glove of Matz, extended the inning, and then the Mets picked up 4. It would have been out number 3 of the inning. And you could make the case that there was a ball on a bloop hit by Escobar that should have been caught down the left field line. So some tough luck in that second inning too. Very shallow for Guillorme. I like what Ali did here. Even if you just get an inning or 2 out of Matz, but let him try to figure this thing out.
You're building faith in a player, and he has faith in you as a manager. I mean, this is a relationship that's going to last at least 4 years of a contract here.
Out to left, and there is O'Neill, and he will get out of it. Something to build on. Mets strand a pair. They had a conversation. Ali stayed with him. Move pays off. Well, at Busch Stadium 2, getaway day, and Mark Grudzielanek made the most of it. This was against the Milwaukee Brewers, and he hit for this cycle. Only spent 1 year in St. Louis, and that was one of the 8 home runs that he would hit that season, playing second base for St. Louis. Number of years in Montreal. He's a shortstop then with the Dodgers, the Cubs, Cardinals, and finished up in 2008 with the Kansas City Royals. Good player.
Yeah, really good player, really good teammate too. Just one of those guys that would do anything for you. Been through a little bit of everything.
Very businesslike. I remember that, his approach. Base hit off the bat of Tommy Edman. And the Cardinal leadoff man is aboard to start the bottom of the 3rd. Chevy pitch tracks.
Tommy Edman gets himself something elevated. Fastball, turns on it. Remember, that's where the opposition has really been trying to get him. Right there, trying to get him to hit ground balls to the right side, but he hits this one hard and finds a hole. This should be the part of the lineup that every team in the league should be afraid of. Like, this should be, oh my gosh, here we go, 2, 3, 4 against the Cardinals. Time to get something rolling here.
And maybe you start the runner here in Tommy Edman. The speed that he possesses. And that is hit down the left field line. That ball is foul, not by much. That would have scored Edman easily from first. Last night, Edman, a couple of steals. 4th time in his career that he's had 2 stolen bases in a game. He's got 3 stolen bases thus far this season, and this is barely foul. However, we were talking about it. This is where, when the team is not hitting home runs and not scoring runs, that sometimes you have to look to generate the offense on your own.
Yeah, I like the idea of it too. And if you think that this is a slider count, now Carrasco throws his fastball in this count as well, but I would not be afraid to let him go.
And a diving stop, Lindor. All the way to first, safe. What a play, though, by Lindor to even make that close. And the first 2 have reached for the Cardinals here in the home half of the 3rd.
Got a little something cooking right here. What an athletic play by Francisco Lindor. Flags that thing. The slight hesitation is what stops him from getting Goldie. He realizes that he can't get Edman on the short throw to second base. Goldie's running hard right out of the box. But the fact that he made this close is impressive.
O'Neill singled to left and scored back in the 1st inning. The RBI by Dickerson with 2 outs to account for the lone St. Louis run. Let's see if they can't just string something together. That's the other thing. Earlier this season, the offense, about 65% of it, the runs, the percentage was off of one swing and the home run. And this is another way to do it. String together some base hits and see if they can't get it moving.
That was our key to the game today, Dan. Manufacture. The ball has not been flying out of this ballpark. We've had a few balls hit in the last couple of nights where you thought that they were gone. You mentioned no home runs for the Cardinals in the last 6 games. Only 1 home run in the last 8 games. You can't rely on that. Put together good at-bats. Think up the middle. Think the other way. The home runs will come.
A ball and a strike on O'Neill. It's a ball at times that if you hang it, O'Neill will put it in the seats or take that to right. A lot of room on the right side. The shift there for O'Neill. Check swing. It did not go. On deck, Nolan Arenado.
Carrasco likes to double up with that pitch. He's not afraid against a right-hander to come back with the changeup.
The 2-1 pitch. We'll have a count now of 2-2. Pulling off that pitch a little bit, isn't he?
It's a good pitch. That was a late breaking slider. But it comes back to, are you thinking up the middle? Are you thinking the other way? That's where Tyler was at his best last year, when he would just trust his hands so much and he would react. He'd be able to react to 95, 97 in, but still looking out over and driving the off-speed pitches.
The 2-2. Hit slowly. Lindor quickly to first and out. And the Cardinals will take a look at it. That was awfully close at first. What does he get down the line? Made it close. Take a look here. The stretch by Pete Alonso. Stretch by O'Neill, and indeed he is out. Runners at second and third. 1 out. Nolan Arenado. Nolan had a base hit to right first time up. Cardinals had 3 consecutive singles. 2 consecutive to start this inning, the third. A chance to get back in this. Trailing 4-1. Arenado, base hit into right. 1 run is in. Here comes another. And Nolan drives in a pair to make it a 4-3 game.
You needed some momentum. You needed to answer back against the Mets, who have been in total control of this series so far. But you get a little bit of an answer right here. Nolan again goes the other way. Inside out approach and drives in a couple. Busch Stadium starting to get a little bit of life right now. This all on the heels of Steven Matz struggling. Ollie goes out there. Steven Matz, Yachty talk himself to stay into that game. Talk Ollie into it. And they respond here.
The first 2 driven in for Nolan since that 9th inning blast against Miami on the recent road trip. Dickerson slicing one towards left field, and the catch made by Mark Canha. Nolan Arenado back to the bag at first. Kia player profile on the Cardinal third baseman, serving as the designated hitter today, but the highest WAR, wins above replacement, in Major League Baseball this year. Basically, it's taking a look at the worth of a player, and Nolan Arenado leading the way.
Well, you're not seeing any outliers on that list, are you?
No.
I mean, that's a who's who right now. Wander Franco, one of the best young players in the game of baseball. We know what Mike Trout has been doing. Byron Buxton finally healthy, putting together a big season already.
Here's Carlson, grounded out to second. Boy, he could just push a bunt towards the left side, and it's a given base hit. Showed bunt and takes a ball. At least if you do that, you're going to keep the defense honest, because now J.D. Davis is taking about 4 or 5 steps to his right and comes in.
Yep, and now all of a sudden the middle opens up more because of that. Even still where he's at.
I was going to say, he still could do it. 2 balls and no strikes. This is where I want to see Dylan. If he gets a fastball, hunt a fastball on 2-0 and let it rip.
Don't get cheated.
Cardinals have been getting beat on some of these fastballs here in the last couple of weeks or so.
Specifically in.
Tried to go in 3-0. And on deck it is Paul DeJong. I mean, even early in counts, and I know it's the sport today to where you grind through an at bat, but if you get that first pitch fastball, be ready for it. Be ready to hit it. So 2 outs, runner at first, and the 3-0. He walked him. First walk by Carrasco. His pitch count now is on the rise as well. It'll be 2 on, 2 outs. A visit from the catcher Tomas Nido, and coming up it is shortstop Paul DeJong. Well, DeJong made his debut in 2017. He's tormented the New York Mets. 11 doubles, 10 home runs. Began his career with 4 straight games with a home run against the Mets. The majority of his hits have gone for extra bases. He flied to deep left his first time up.
I know that Paul DeJong has had his struggles this year. Look, the last couple of years. I also know that he's a guy that once he gets on a tear, he can stay there for a while. Needs some good things to keep falling in place for him.
Well, you try to find little things, and last night it was the base hit to right, which was something that he has really been focusing on, going to right or going to center. The 0-1, and he pops it up with 2 runners on. Who wants it? It's Alonso. He's got it. Cardinals, though, get an RBI single from Nolan Arenado. That scores Edman and Goldie. Cuts a lead to 4-3. Ball brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals, and by St. Louis Children's. Only St. Louis Children's, Missouri's #1 pediatric hospital. Beautiful day here at Busch Stadium. 4-3 our score as we move to the top of the 4th. Tomorrow night's game, by the way, at 6:45 if you have a ticket. 6:45. And then Friday 7:15, Saturday and Sunday 1:15 here at the ballpark, and then the makeup game against Kansas City on Monday. I don't know if there's any kids playing hooky that we can find and put them on a TV shot, and you know.
Why would you do that?
No, you applaud them. You say nice work.
Oh, okay.
I'm not thinking the other way. No.
I thought you were trying to Ferris Bueller.
No. You say, now that's the kind of kid I want working for me someday. Right there.
That's right. Look at him. He knows what he wants.
Smart kid right there.
Good supportive parents.
That's right.
So you want to learn something, come to the ball game.
That's right.
Watch these guys do it.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. I think it's kind of a gutsy move by Ali, where a lot of managers will say, I've seen enough, and they go straight to the bullpen. But to his credit, he goes out and has a conversation. And Ali, as we have said many times, is direct, and then looked at Yadi and said, okay, I'm going to go on you too. What do you see?
Yeah. Well, twofold. One, again, you build that relationship with Steven Matz. Say, I trust you. I trust you. If you believe in you right here, I believe in you. And 2, you used 7 innings out of your bullpen yesterday. And to your point, Dan, you don't have any off days coming up. I mean, you were in the middle of a big time run on ball games. So innings are at a premium. So right now, Steven Matz sitting at 80 pitches. That was his top so far this year. He threw 80 pitches last time out.
Tapped foul by Nido. Then the top of the Mets lineup. He had a 2-out RBI double. Part of a 4-run second inning. All runs scored with 2 outs by the Mets. But I like it. Early in the season, you want your manager to believe in you, vice versa. Missed in, 2-2.
And you want to prove him right, and you want to make him look smart with it too.
It's not to say too that he's not on a short leash, because he is. You know, if he walks him here, then you probably got to go get him. Instead, he picks up a strikeout to start the inning. That's number 5 today for Mets. But in that particular situation, it is somewhat, for a young manager, first year, a gutsy move, but that's how you build those relationships up.
It is, and it's how you keep your team fresh. So far so good, and after that the Cardinals responded, got 2 back. They're right here in this ball game, and Steven Matz is trying to keep it that way.
Nimmo had a 10-pitch at bat first time up, struck out swinging, and then a double that scored 2. 0-1 the count with 1 out and nobody on. Top of the Met lineup. No balls and 2 strikes. It's a good looking hat there in the background, Brad. Part of the Thompson collection that you just came out with this past winter.
That is pretty solid. Nice day for it too. Still cool enough.
Beautiful. The 0-2 fouled back.
You know me, I'm fashion forward.
When did you design that? Was that during the lockout when you weren't doing notes?
Yeah, a little bit of time on my hands. Started to get into a little bit of crochet. Those things are sharp.
Do we have a cowboy hat giveaway this year?
Sure hope so.
Me too.
If so, you'll see it on one of these West Coast post games at 2 in the morning. I'll wear that thing.
I saw you last year. We have the proof.
I did have a fake lasso.
Now, at least you did not do Ricky from the future where he dressed up as the Tin Man, it looked like. That was an interesting post game.
I haven't seen that.
1-2. They did a trying to change things up a little bit. And they had Ricky dress up as Rick from the future. And it was a look at the Cardinals in baseball like 20, 25 years, 30 years. And he looked like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
I appreciate the effort.
Set. There's a 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Couple of breaking balls away. I'd like to see Steven Matz-Yachty go in with that fastball again, up and in. Believe that you'll get him to swing through it.
Ground ball. Slowly hit to first, and Goldie takes it himself, steps on the bag for out number 2. While we have a moment, quick word from Rally House.
Play ball, St. Louis. Shop the latest in Cardinals style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
So 2 outs and Starling Marte. Mets did have a 1-2-3 first inning. They'd love to get one here. Marte is grounded out to short and also walked. Outfield is straight away, and the first pitch to him. 0-1. Marte signed a 4-year contract with the Mets. Had a very solid season with the Marlins and then just ran wild with the A's. Parlayed that into a big deal with New York. Number of seasons we've seen him with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
He's a really good player.
Yes,
he's
is.
Fun to watch. I mean, he's a 5-tool player. Got a little bit of everything. I think that he brings the athleticism and speed of kind of a vintage Jose Reyes for them.
He's got pop too.
Yeah. I mean, I realize he's a little bit older. He's not Reyes in his prime. Doesn't quite have that top end elite speed, but the combination, that's a good fit. It's a good fit in any lineup.
And the 0-2 pitch. Grounded foul. He had 47 steals last year in a sport that has seen the stolen base really go to the wayside, and that was in his age 32 season. He's hit over 300 the last 2 full seasons in the big leagues, so very good player. The 0-2 pitch. 1-2.
Yeah, I know you are, as an organization, you're concerned oftentimes about saddling yourself with a long-term contract of a guy whose game is built off of speed in his early 30s. But his game is much more than just the speed. It's also the instincts, too. He's not just stealing all these bags because he's simply fast. He's just a smart baseball player.
The 1-2. Fights it off. Pitch number 97. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Matz. So after that visit, settled in, was able to get 5 outs. Yachty coming up. Concert of 90s hits by St. Louis's own Proud Larry. You're also going to take home a mug. Cardinals.com/theme. Molina, Sosa, and Tommy Edman. Home half of the fourth. 4-3 Mets. First pitch to Yachty. And strike 1. So Matt's right around the century mark for pitches. Woodford was up. You may see him get up and throw with 2 outs. He's probably hot right now. Or you may see Matz go out for 1 more inning. I wouldn't think so, but we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either against 3, 4, 5 in the order. But I tell you what, him going back out there, making his case to stay in, Ollie letting it happen, and then coming back and responding with a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning, that's big. He needed that.
0-2 the count on Yadier Molina. Sosa on deck. Tommy Edman to follow. The 0-2 off the plate. 1-2. Mets shift on the left side of the infield. The 1-2 pitch. What a souvenir here at the ballpark. Cardinals' next road trip will take them through Kansas City and San Francisco. And then Baltimore will be here on May 10th. Also features the San Francisco Giants on that homestand. Here's a 1-2. Pulled foul. Yachty with a base hit late in game 1. Brendan Donovan, who came in, made his major league debut as a pinch runner, came around to score. Cardinals had a 2-0 lead going into the 9th and lost that game 5-2.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk about that.
Yeah, I got to move on. Here's a 1-2. So for Steven Matz today, it's his first career outing, 4 innings and over 95 pitches. He had never done that before.
Definitely could have been worse. The fact that he was able to go out there, be efficient in that 4th.
2-2 is a base hit into right. Drops in, hits the sidewall. Yachty on the move to second base. Throw is offline. It's a double for Yadier Molina.
Yachty gets himself a 4-seam fastball. It's away, but it's up enough for him to be able to get the bat to, bust it out of the box, and he sees this off the sidewall. You know that Starling Marte has a really good arm. He turns and burns. The throw is offline. And Yachty gets it going here, gets things started.
First extra base hit of the season for Yadier Molina. Here's Sosa with a runner at second base. The corners are in. And Sosa hit by the pitch. And he's a guy that gets hit an awful lot. So ball up and in, and the first 2 have reached here in the 4th. Where's that elbow guard? That's where he gets hit majority of the time, and maybe he did catch the guard. Let's see here.
Yeah, this is a sinker. Rides in. Maybe caught a little bit of that padding. Looked like it caught a bit of meat also, but you're right. And he's right on top of the plate. He's not afraid to hang in there. And a much-needed base runner again.
Runners at first and second. Tommy Edman, top of the St. Louis lineup. He has struck out, singled and scored. 2 runners on for St. Louis, down by a run in the bottom of the 4th. Edman, base hit. Here comes Yachty. He will score. Racing to third, Sosa held up. Tommy Edman with a double to tie it at 4.
Tommy aggressive early. We've seen a lot of this out of Tommy Edman. He sees something up in the zone he likes. He's going to let it rip. This time it's a changeup. It elevates a little bit, shoots it right down the line. It's his 5th hit of the season on the first pitch. I love the aggressive nature right there of Tommy Edman.
And they've tied it up. It's a brand new game, 4-4. Runners at second and third, and still nobody out. And here is Goldschmidt, who is 1 for 2. Activity now in the bullpen for the Mets. Their infield is in a bit. Big gap left center for Paul Goldschmidt. And an infield hit, run scored back in the 3rd. It was a diving stop by Lindor, who is deep in the hole. They shift left side, now time call. As a wrapper has made its way onto the field right behind third baseman J.D. Davis. Hands it to the umpire. He'll put it in his back pocket. Crew chief Mark Wegner. Goldie 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 5 runs batted in this season. Corners are in. First pitch to Goldie. Just a bit low.
Generally 1-0. Carrasco is getting back into the count with the fastball, but things do change a little bit with the base open. Be ready for it, though. There it is.
With the speed of Tommy Edman at second base. Good speed, Sosa at third. A single probably scores 2. The Mets outfield very deep, and that includes Marte very deep in right field. Here's a 1-1. 1-2. So the activity that we spoke of earlier, Sean Reed Foley. He was part of the Steven Matz deal with Toronto last year. The 1-2 missed in, 2-2. Cardinals are run in the first, 2 in the third, and 1 here in the 4th. And they're thinking more with nobody out. Second and third, and a 2-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. Full count. With 3-2, first base open, O'Neill on deck, and this is where we mentioned the St. Louis lineup can really grind it out with the opposition.
They can, and for Carrasco, you're thinking through it and saying, all right, well, I know that if I walk him, maybe it's my last batter. I also know if I give something up in the gap, it is too.
And Goldie lines it into the shift, and right there, the second baseman, Guillorme. His entire life, that has been a base hit and 2 runs batted in.
It's a good pitch. It's a great swing. And you are, I mean, perfectly placed. All of these numbers for everybody that says, the shift is stupid. Look at all the hits that are lost. There are more outs gained than lost. I promise you that, because these smart people wouldn't continue to do it.
Tyler O'Neill. First pitch, a strike. It never did change the ruling in the first inning to a base hit, so reached on an error and scored in the first and grounded out to short. Here's an 0-1 pitch to O'Neill. 0-2 the count. This spot, you got to get more than just one. These bats, middle of the lineup coming up, second and third. You had nobody out, now one. O'Neill in the hole, 0-2. Arenado on deck. Got him. Now the question will be, do you even pitch to Nolan Arenado? And if you do, does he see a pitch to hit?
I'd put him on.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm with you.
I would much rather take my chances, with all due respect to Dickerson, and that's what's going to happen there. They're going to put him on, give him 4, load the bases up, 2 outs.
So the bases will be loaded for Corey Dickerson. Dickerson, a 2-out RBI single back in the first, and also fly to left. They're all loaded up for Dickerson. Carrasco is a guy that has given back so much in his community. Roberto Clemente, award winner from Venezuela, dealing with the strife in that country, family and friends back home. Not trying to pitch out of trouble. Albert Pujols won that in 2008. Molina in 18, Carrasco 19, Wainwright in 2020. Very significant, meaningful award for these players.
Yes, it is. And a meaningful spot right here for Dickerson, looking to get something elevated. If he stays away, shoot it away.
Gets away. Here comes a run to score. That's Sosa, and the Cardinals have the lead. Got right through Tomas Nido, and Sosa scoring easily from third. And it's a 5-4 St. Louis lead.
Swing and a miss on the changeup. And this goes 5-hole on Nido. We've been talking a lot recently about that one knee down and the ability to block a ball. You really have to work hard to close that gap there. Nido not able to do it, and it proves costly.
Scored a wild pitch. Dickerson in the hole, 0-2 with 2 outs, runners at second and third. The 0-2. Runner at second, Nolan Arenado. Tommy Edman down at third. Dickerson getting a start in right field today. Bader off. He'll come off the bench eventually, potentially in this game. And Carlson shifting from right field to center today.
Just love seeing this response from the offense, but don't be done yet. Be relentless up there.
The 0-2. 1-2. Jake Woodford standing on the bullpen mound, set to come in and pitch the 5th for the Cardinals. Trying to salvage a game in this series.
You don't see a lot of this in baseball nowadays, but Dickerson with 2 strikes really spreads out. Just trying to put the ball in play, really use the hands, take that lower half out of it.
Puts it in play. Slowly hit to first. He's safe. Run scores. Dickerson, his second hit. And it brings in Tommy Edman. The Cardinals add to their lead to make it 6-4.
Put the ball in play. Good things may happen for you. That ends up being the case here. This ball is a spinner off the plate. Dickerson just gets bat to ball and then goes running to the races.
Easily beat it out. Carrasco out. Stubby Clapp saying, get here, get here, get here. So Dickerson, a couple of hits. He's driven in 2. Carrasco out. Cardinals lead at 6-4. Blues finish the regular season Friday night. Vegas playoff hockey starts next week. You can see that first round series against the Wild right here on Bally Sports Midwest. Ran into Doug Armstrong walking into the ballpark today, and I said, what a run. He said, it's been a lot of fun. We're excited about the playoffs. What time did you get in last night? He said, about 3. And I said, well, pro sports. He said, oh yeah, it is what it is.
That's it.
Wake up. But I'm not going to miss this game.
Wake up, go to a ball game, right? Get ready for a final regular season game. They got the Golden Knights coming into town on Friday. The Chevy called to the bullpen. Sean Reed Foley in for his 6th game of the season.
At 2 2/3 scoreless. Back on the 23rd against Arizona. A couple of walks, 1 strikeout, 2 hits. Runners at first and third with 2 down. Carrasco out of the game. And the first pitch taken by Dylan Carlson. It's been pretty good so far this year. Opposing batters are just 4 for 25 against Sean Reed Foley. Acquired from Toronto in the Steven Matz deal. The 1-0 inside. 2 balls and no strikes. So the Cardinals with 8 hits against Carrasco. He's responsible for the 2 runners. They've scored 6 runs and counting. The 2-0. Carlson down the right field line. It is fair. Into the corner. 1 run is in. That's Nolan Arenado. Here comes Dickerson. Carlson to third, standing up with a 2-out triple.
How about this response here from the Cardinals offense? 2-0 count, slider down and in. And Dylan sees it right out of the hand of Sean Reed Foley, drops the head on it, shoots it down the line, and finds himself standing up. Bases clearing. A big moment right there. Hopefully this is the sign of things to come for this Cardinals offense.
DeYoung. 5 runs in the inning. And a couple of key 2-out hits following the intentional walk to Nolan Arenado. And the 1-0 pitch to the Cardinals shortstop. 2 balls and no strikes. Molina on deck. He started everything with a double. His first extra base hit of the year. DeYoung has flied to left and popped out with 2 runners on. The 2-0 pitch. Been a rough inning for the Mets because you've had the 4 hits against. You had 3 runs scoring with 2 outs. You had a wild pitch that led to a run. You've hit a man and an intentional walk, and the move didn't pay off. The 2-1. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 65-year-old Buck Showalter, 20 years of managerial experience. He's had 5 different playoff runs. The 2-2. Shallow right. Marte with the glasses on, and he'll make the catch. Big inning for the Cardinals. 5 runs on 4 hits. And an 8-4 St. Louis lead. Steven Matz made the start today. Now gives way. He's off the hook. The bullpen with a 4-run lead. Did not go the way that he wanted, and that was a key play. That would have been the 3rd out. And then all of a sudden, the Mets picked up 4. Then you thought Ollie may take him out. Never made the motion to the bullpen. Conversation with Matz. And then he settled in. The BJC difference maker, Steven Matz, with the 4 innings, 97 pitches today.
I know you look at the line, you say difference maker, 4 innings, 4 earned runs, but just what you're talking about, the fact that they talked it over, he stays in that game, he retires the next 5, able to bridge that gap a little bit so the bullpen doesn't have to do as much work, and then the way that the offense responded to it, to me those two things are correlated.
Seldom used so far. He's appeared in 1 game since April 10th. Jake Woodford. Just 4 innings in our Chevy call to the pen. 2 balls, no strikes. Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Eduardo Escobar. And the way that this series has gone, you want to see this with 3, 4, and 5 coming up be a shutdown inning.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You finally got a little bit of momentum here.
The 2-0 pitch to Lindor. 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to second and struck out. And again, the Cardinals not hitting a home run today, but generating 8 runs of offense. Hit to short. Positioned perfectly, Paul DeYoung, and the first out. More on the Cardinals bullpen. Let's check in with Alexa.
Hey, Danny Mac. Well, with those 7 innings, 6 hits, and an earned run last night after Jordan Hicks departing early with that injury, Ali Marmol said, you line up our bullpen with anyone else's bullpen. We love it. The versatility, you know, guys you can throw in there regardless of where you are in the lineup. They get in, they get righties out. He goes, I like what I'm seeing. There's a lot of confidence from these guys.
Here's Pete Alonso, and the first pitch taken for his strike. Alexa, I do appreciate every time I introduce you, you say, thanks, Dan. Thanks, Danny Mac. But you're leaving Brad out. And, you know, we're a team here. OK.
Does BT really feel left out?
Yes, he does. He was
I wasn't going to
shook.
I wasn't going to bring it up myself, but it is nice to, you know, to be involved.
BT, you know I love you, too.
I appreciate that, Alexa. You're best.
I love Brad Thomas as well.
Well, that's I've been called many things. And that was one of them. The second game, Alexa and I worked together.
It happens.
We made a correction.
Here's the 1-1 pulled foul. Jim Hayes will be back with us tomorrow. Alexa will either be on hockey or baseball. Scott Warman as well. So Jimmy will be back with us. And Alexa's been a great addition to Bally Sports Midwest. Alonso is 1 for 1. Single, walk, and a run scored. And the 1-2 pitch. Hits it a ton out to deep left, but yet stays in the ballpark. I mean, you have to wait to see. And I've been talking to some of my counterparts around the league. I said, what are you seeing with these fly balls? And they say it's just not going anywhere. I mean, that ball looks to be crushed.
Hey, look, it's an out. That's great. Get 2 quick outs. That pitch right there, that's a hanging slider to one of the better power hitters in the game.
Hey, if you're the Cardinals, you're taking it.
It's not what you've seen. It's not what you've seen in the last couple of years. But again, okay, so we're seeing a lot of this. Pitch to it. Pitch to it. Be aggressive.
Especially in this ballpark.
Yeah, well, you got yourself a little bit of a lead. Don't fall behind.
Even when it's, you know, hot summer months and it seems like the ball is jumping everywhere, this ballpark, and the numbers bear it out, it plays big. Very big. We say it time and again, but there are many games in which you have 5 Gold Glovers out there on the field. Use them. And it's going to play big. Get the fly balls like that. The 0-2 pitch and a strikeout for Woodford. There's your shutdown inning. 1-2-3 go the Mets. Molina, Sosa, Tommy Edman coming up. 8-4. Sports here in the Gateway City tomorrow and over the weekend. So what's on tap? Arizona in town, 1st of 4 against the Diamondbacks. We'll have all those games for you on Bally Sports Midwest or Midwest Extra. So we have 2 channels, Brad, and if there's a couple of games going on, you can put one on one channel and the other one on the other so that everybody can see what you want to see.
I like that. And then I'd put the Cardinals Kids Show on both channels whenever given the opportunity.
Is that the Kids Show?
That's right. Shameless plug.
like that program, and you put a lot of effort into it.
Well, the stars of the show are really Fred Bird and Professor U-Man, John Hewlett.
I bet your kids love it, though.
That's the only thing that makes them think I'm cool, is that I know Fred Bird.
Molina is 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. Check swing and a foul ball. Well, entertaining that crowd is Fred Bird. There he is.
That guy's got a busier schedule than I do. Always doing something. Always a smile on his beak. Appreciate that.
Fred Bird showed up at one of my kids' birthday parties many years ago. My kids were shocked that Fred Bird would appear at our home. The 0-2 pitch on the ground to Lindor. And the first out. I saw in one of your episodes, Fred Bird was celebrating the holidays over at the Thompson household.
Well, kind of like at one of your children's birthdays, he just showed up.
Yep.
And spent the entire winter at our house. So, you know, an uninvited guest, but a guest nonetheless. We treated him all right. Kids liked it. Bit of a mess, you can imagine, a bird like that.
Sure. Sosa fouls it back. Well, Max Scherzer was screaming last night at the, it looked like the Cardinal dugout, and if not, he was screaming at Fred Bird. Fred Bird was nearby and giving it right back to Max Scherzer. If you saw that, in addition to others screaming back at Max and some over there in the Mets dugout.
Yeah, I don't think that Fred Bird would provoke anything like that. It did get a little heated last night back for you knew with all the hit batsmen on both sides, none of it was intentional, but there is the frustration when your team gets hit over and over again, specifically when you get hit in the head.
Popped up. Alonso with the catch. Tommy Edman, a couple of hits in this ball game. And then back in the fourth inside the right field line with 2 runners on, and this would score Yadier Molina. Sosa would go to third, eventually scored on a wild pitch. First 4 innings, 8 of the 9 guys in this starting lineup have gotten at least 1 hit, scored at least a run, or driven in at least 1 run. And that's just in 4 innings. So there's different ways to score outside the home run. The Cardinals have done that. The 3 consecutive losses, and they've also had key 2-out hits. The Cardinals were 2 for 19 with runners in scoring position, and today 5 for 11. So that's why you have the 8 runs up on the board.
And to me, it's simplifying things. See something, it doesn't have to be a home run. Little stuff like Dickerson just spreading out and putting the ball in play. I know he didn't crush the ball, he put it in play and he ran hard. Like little stuff ends up making a big difference.
I remember when Bader hit the painting during the pandemic season of Fred Bird, and Fred Bird for the first time all year wasn't up there. It would have hit him on his backside. But you were more concerned about windshields of cars concerning what happens with a bird sometimes.
Well, he had a bit of
big
an
bird.
emergency, is my understanding. He likes to hang out with his artwork, but when nature calls, you know, don't park by Busch Stadium.
Here's the 1-2. Slapped foul.
Honey, I got a great spot.
You were very concerned, though.
Yeah, well, think about my guy.
Or others' cars.
Yeah, I don't get that good of a parking spot. I knew I was going to be fine, but somebody else.
Oh, yeah. That year wasn't tough to find parking.
What an odd year.
The 1-2 pitch to Edman. Hit sharply and into the glove of Alonso, and that is a catch. And Tommy 2 for 4. We move to the 6th. St. Louis on top. '22, the 40th anniversary of the 1982 World Championship team. Friday, May 13th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a white 1982 inspired performance hat courtesy of Quick Trip. And you can visit cardinals.com/promotions and be here for that giveaway May 13th. Mark Canha to lead it off against Jake Woodford. He enjoyed a 1-2-3 fifth inning in relief of Steven Matz. Cardinals trailed in this game 4-1. Now lead it 8-4. They have out-hit the Mets 9-6.
That 1-2-3 fifth inning was exactly what the Cardinals needed. They got themselves back in this game, scored a bunch of runs. The last thing you needed was a long inning out there in the field. It's a good job by Jake Woodford. Now, who knows? I mean, Woody could be out there for a couple more innings. Continue to throw the ball well.
TJ McFarland throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. And the 0-1 pitch. It is interesting, though, and Brad, maybe you can get into this. So you have Woodford being stretched out in spring, makes the club, pitches on April 10th. Then he has one appearance, and now today. So how stretched out can he truly be to give you a lot of innings? And when I say a lot, could he give you 3? Does he give you 2 if things go to plan?
I think it ends up being eyeball test, and you watch how quickly the outs come for him, because he did give you 3 innings in his first appearance, but that was all the way back on the 10th against Pittsburgh. On Sunday he gave you 1 more inning, and by the way, what a tough job, 14 days in between outings, to be able to stay sharp, and he was sharp in that ball game, by the way. But I think that you just kind of trust your eyes, and you trust in the communication that you've had with Jake Woodford. It lets you know where he's at.
A ball and 2 strikes. Mark Canha, J.D. Davis, and then Guillorme. And the 1-2. Good pitch in on his hands. It's such a fine line in Major League Baseball. When I say, you know, you want to pitch in, well, minor leagues, you get in on some guys, and some pitchers are wild, so they hit them. Other guys, they don't get in by just the slightest space, and it gets hit at this level. And that's where that pitch right there was perfect. The hands of Canha. Now goes outside, paints there.
That's it. And for the limited amount of work that Jake Woodford has had at the big league level this year, looks pretty sharp to me.
I would agree.
Yeah, to be able to sink it in, slide it away. I think that he does a good job of repeating his mechanics. He's got a very controlled delivery, which really helps out getting his arm in a good position. But you're right. Pitching inside, first of all, is incredibly important, but you have to do it right.
And the 1-2 just a bit high, so he's gone in 3 pitches here. Inside, couldn't do much with it. Paints with a slider on the outside, changes the eye level on that last pitch up just slightly above the zone, where some guys will offer at it, and now it's 2-2. So he's given you 3 different pitches here for him to think about. And Yadi sets up inside, going back in, pulled, and under the glove of Sosa, and a base hit. Canha to second. The throw in by O'Neill. It's in time, and out, and out. The 2-time Gold Glover gets Canha. The throw looked to beat him there, but it's a blind tag for the infielder with his back to the runner. And so a lot of times it's a swipe tag where the runner can see that and avoid it. And maybe he did. We'll see.
Looked like he may have been able to get his hand in. Start with the pitch. It was a good pitch. Good sinker in just under the glove of Sosa over at third base. But how about this throw from Tyler O'Neill? He comes up firing, gets himself in a good position. Tommy Edman swipes the tag, and man, I think he's in there.
This may show if he grazed the arm. Let's take a look.
Now, does he come off right there? Did
Exactly.
the hand come off?
Switch his hands. The left hand and the right hand. Watch here.
I think the hand is off here, Dan, and the tag was on.
But did he pick up the glove off the body when he was off the bag? That'll be the question. Also, on the swipe tag, too, the laces were very close to grazing the arm.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, too, that the call on the field was out. So it's got to be enough evidence to be able to overturn it. That ends up being important. He's out. He came off right there. That's our best look at it.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. The runner is out. New York will lose their challenge.
So the outfield assist from Tyler O'Neill, the quick transition, and then to get something on it, Brad, because it looked like he was throwing off his back foot just a bit. Buck Showalter dismayed with the call, shaking his head. And the Cardinals pick up the first out here in the top of the sixth.
The key to that throw to get enough power on it was the fact that Tyler got around it just a little bit. Got around that ball, got himself in that position to throw, and you know how strong his arm is.
Strike one on J.D. Davis. Struck out swinging with 1 on and 2 outs back in the second inning. And then with 2 runners on in the third, lined out and a diving catch by O'Neill. He's had a nice afternoon defensively for St. Louis and left. The 0-1. 0-2. So you said the eye test with Woodford. How about pitch count? What would you look at?
So last time out it was only an inning, and I kind of try to think of that as like a side day for a starter, but I would try to keep him under 40 pitches probably at this point. I don't even know if they'll let him get that far, but he's not showing any worse, you know, for the wear right now.
And the 0-2 struck him out. Second strikeout for Jake Woodford, and that is 5 up and 5 down in relief of Matz. Plaza Tire Service pitch tracks.
Take that one right there. Slider just off the plate. Home plate umpire Jeremy Rehack gives it to him.
Cardinals have Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado. Home half of the 6th, 2 outs, nobody on. Luis Guillorme, the second baseman. Steven Matz was right around 100 pitches. Was able to get through 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, walked a couple. And Guillorme sends it out to center. Carlson over his head. And extra bases for Guillorme. He's thinking 3. Throw coming in. Oh my goodness! Shades of Rick and Kill. And they're loving it. Holy smokes, what a throw by Dylan Carlson at the bag at third. Wow! Unbelievable. How about this outfield D? 8-4 St. Louis. Signs of life, but the Cardinals, their offense and the defense to match. The Budweiser play of the game as Guillorme trying to stretch it into a triple. And 2 base running plays in that inning and 2 outfield assists with the Mets down by 4 trying to push it.
It was huge. That was huge. Momentum shifters again. O'Neill gunned down Marcana first, and then Carlson with that throw on Guillorme. And all of a sudden Cardinals right back up to bat trying to add to that lead.
Was there the night and called those throws by Rick Ankiel in Colorado. The 2 best throws I think I've ever seen in person.
Those were silly.
But that one, that's going to move up the list too. That was a great throw by Carlson on the fly. The 0-1 fouled back, 0-2.
Forget the cutoff, man. Let it fly.
Dylan was telling me he was a pitcher growing up, and he was clocked around 93, 94, but The way he swings the bat, switch hitter, versatility, can play around the outfield. That was the best path for him to this level, and it obviously has proved dividends. The 0-2 pitch to Goldschmidt, who is 1 for 3.
You know that gets the adrenaline pumping. You fire a throw like that. A lot of guys would tell you they'd rather do that than hit a homer.
Let's be honest. Do you think he's looking at Sean Reed Foley, or is he saying, I'm going to go back and check out that throw?
Just real quick, if we can see that again.
Yeah, I'd like to check that one out.
Put that on my highlight reel so I can take that up to the plate with me.
That was awesome. I didn't think he had any shot. And the way that started, I thought we might have a Jim Edmonds in Kansas City as a member of the Angels type catch back to the infield. Great play. And then it turned into a Rick Ankiel flashback in Colorado. Dylan Carlson saying, no. This is Dylan Carlson of 2022. As Goldie strikes out. Start play here in the home half of the 6th. The Cardinals, the strikeouts, they have the second fewest in baseball, only 4 today. Only team ahead of them, the Kansas City Royals, will see them on Monday. Saturday, May 14th, 25,000 fans take home the Cardinals purse. Gold medal logo on the front. Upgraded components as well. Cardinals.com/promotions. That's May 14th. So Reed Foley came in, faced Dylan Carlson, who picked up a triple and drove in a pair. There's strike one on Tyler O'Neill. Genesis Cabrera throwing for St. Louis. Backs up for a ball inside. 97.2 miles per hour on that throw. 14th hardest by an outfielder overall this year. The hardest throw on an assist this season. Here's a 1-1.
So not only do we have bullpens that are chock full of guys throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour, but we got outfielders that can just sling it 97. We got some pretty good athletes in this sport, don't we?
I would say so.
It was fun to watch. What a half inning that was.
The 2-1 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. He had an outfield assist as well in that inning. But this has shown how the Cardinals can play. So no home runs again here today. Could be their 7th consecutive game without a home run, but stringing together at bats, and the defense really good, playing in a big ballpark. 3-1 pitch. 3-2.
To me, good teams can win in different ways. If you're a one-dimensional team and that's taken away from you, what do you have? You need to be able to figure out ways. If you have a game where your starter is out of there after 4 innings and he gives some up, you should be able to hit your team back into it. You're going to have pitchers duels that you win. Sometimes you're going to hit a bunch of home runs, but you got to figure out different ways to do it.
O'Neill aboard for the 2nd time today. Quick word from St. Louis Children's.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
Nolan Arenado was intentionally walked. He's been on base 3 times, 2 singles, driven in 2. Intentionally walked in the 4th and scored a run, but following the walk, it was a base hit by Dickerson, infield hit, then the triple. And that looms large in this game. Runner goes. Throw to second, not in time. And a stolen base as O'Neill is able to stay on.
Tyler O'Neill got himself a big jump against Reed Foley. And then, as you mentioned, Dan, nice job of being able to stay on there. Not too many guys like that in this league that have the power profile of Tyler O'Neill that can swipe a bag for you. Oh, and throw guys out.
Yeah. Diving catch earlier.
Gold gloves.
The count of 2-1. And the next to Nolan Arenado. Arenado hits it out to deep left. It is at the wall. And a one-hopper into the seats. Nolan on base for the 4th time. That'll score Tyler O'Neill on the ground rule double. And it's 9-4 St. Louis. His 3rd hit today.
Fastball elevated. Look at that. Wide-eyed, head down on contact. And gives this thing a ride. Another one. I don't know about you, Dan. I thought this was gone off the bat, but that will do.
Well, you have Chasen Shreve coming in, and you'd have to think you're pulling back Corey Dickerson when we come back. And number 5 would be coming up. Presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. And here comes Albert. Standing 0 in game number 17 on April 27th. Just imagine what this place is going to be like as we progress this season. Chasen Shreve, first lefty the Mets have used. And Pujols on the first pitch pops it back foul. I don't think anybody doubts that this man can still hit, and hit in particular left-handed pitching.
It has been the case, and an interesting matchup here with Shreve. Shreve hasn't given up a hit yet this year to a right-handed batter. It seems like Albert hasn't missed against the lefty yet. Just love that ovation that Albert gets as soon as he walks out of the dugout. People here in St. Louis go nuts, and rightfully so.
Pujols, 681 home runs. The 0-1. 19 away from becoming the 4th member of the 700 home run club. Barry Bonds 762. Hank Aaron 755. Babe Ruth 714. The 1-1. 2 strikes on Pujols. He's homered off of 442 different pitchers. He is yet to homer against this lefty who spent time in St. Louis. In the hole, 1-2. Fans on their feet here at Busch. Fouled back by Pujols. He is the active leader and is in the top 10. Runs batted in, home runs, doubles, extra base hits, total bases, at bats, and hits.
Is that all?
What a career put together by number 5. The 1-2. Pujols yanks it foul. He's talking about it on the road trip, how he feeds off the energy back here in St. Louis.
I think I've seen Albert smile more in a couple of weeks here than I saw in years in his first stop here in St. Louis. Just so he's still figured out that part of it, Dan, as Shreve gets him to punch out, fastball up. He's still motivated as ever, and he still puts in the work, but now he's figuring out that fine line of also enjoying the moment. He said, all right, I'm going to file that.
So Shreve comes in and gets Pujols with a strikeout, 2 away. Here's Dylan Carlson, 1 for 2. Walk, triple that brought in 2. And so far, the throw of the year defensively. 2 outs, runner at second. Maybe it's kind of game 2 that jump starts him as well. That triple was at a key spot in the game. Off of Reed Foley, the first man that he saw back in the 4th with 2 outs and 2 on. And the 0-1. One and 2 with 2 outs and a runner at second. Carlson chops it off the plate and foul. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. Mentioned it earlier, but the miles per hour on the throw, 97.2. So he's turned around a little bit and said, I'm going to let it fly. And on the fly to third, the tag applied by Sosa. Guillorme out at third. What a play.
It is. Unreal throw. That back to the infield looked like you were going to get that Jim Edmonds catch.
Up the middle. And it knocked him over. How about that? Hit so hard that Guillorme was tripped up, and that'll be a base hit. The second hit for Dylan Carlson.
There is some good signs in this ball game for the Cardinals offense, specifically for Dylan Carlson. You're right, Guillorme's in a good spot, just trips over his feet. That ball's hit hard. Well, they caught the lip of the grass or what, but either way, that ball's barreled up, and Dylan's got himself another knock.
Some smiles there in the St. Louis dugout. Runners at first and third for Paul DeJong. 0 for 3 today. Fouled back. Room on the right side for DeJong. Mets shift. The 0-1. A ball and a strike. Inning started with the strikeout of Goldie. O'Neill walked and scored on the double, ground rule double by Nolan Arenado. Pujols struck out. Infield hit for Dylan Carlson. And the 1-1 pitch to Paul DeJong. 2 strikes on the Cardinal shortstop.
A split finger right there from Chasen Shreve. Hard to lay off of. Bottom of the zone.
Parts of a couple of seasons, Brad, in 18 and 19. It was Gallegos and Shreve that were acquired by the Cardinals in the Luke Voit deal.
I feel like that turned out to be a nice trade for St. Louis.
Really, both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke wound up leading the American League in homers one year.
Yep.
Now with San Diego.
And it's not like first base has been an issue for the Cardinals over the last couple of years, as Paul Goldschmidt make the deal for him, sign him to an extension. You get a pivotal piece in your bullpen.
The 2-2. A strikeout of DeYoung. Cardinals strand a pair. They have left 7 on today, but they add to their lead with the RBI double off the bat of Arenado. Game summary, 9-4 Cardinals, top of the 7th. Mets took the first couple of games in this series looking for a sweep, but down by 5. Carrasco, he lasted 3 2/3. Nito 1 for 2, 2-run double. Cardinals were trailing 4-1 in this game and then stormed back. Dylan Carlson, a big day, couple of hits. And also the outfield assist we'll be talking about for a long time. He goes from center to right. Dickerson out of the game. He was pinch hit for by Albert Pujols, and then Bader takes over in center.
So then you bring in arguably your best defensive outfielder. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So Jake Woodford had a little help. Outfield assist from Tyler O'Neill to single by Canna, and then Guillorme trying to stretch a double into a triple. The outfield assist from Dylan Carlson. And a base hit. That's how we start inning number 7 off the bat of Thomas Nito, his second hit today. So in Colorado, I mean, all I could think about when I made the call there with Dylan Carlson was this. He did this not once, but twice in 2008. So there's that throw. And the deke by Troy Gloss. And this one is one we will never forget. Picks it up, steps, throws on the bag. And then the reaction from the bench is priceless. The late great Chris Duncan was slamming the top bar of the dugout and going crazy.
So cool. Such a moment.
Pitching change, and it's 9-4. Partner of the Cardinals, and if your plans change, you can easily list your tickets with StubHub. Even use the free seller toolkit to help manage the price of tickets. StubHub, sell your tickets very easy without any stress. Download the StubHub app today. So Woodford 2+, gives up a leadoff base hit to Tomas Nito. And into the ball game for the Cardinals, the lefty, Genesis Cabrera. Fouled back by Nimmo. Top of the lineup for the Mets.
We saw Genesis Cabrera in game 1 as he's the Chevy call to the bullpen, and this is exactly the order that he faced. He faced Nimmo, Marte, and Lindor. Set him down 1, 2, 3.
It was about the same spot where Ricky Ankiel was with his throw, coming from essentially the track and center and then on a fly to third. The other part of the play, and they'll tell you, no matter where the ball goes, there is somewhere to go for everybody on the diamond. That includes the umpires, and that was, I believe, the home plate umpire that had rotated in transition to get himself in position to make that call. Here's a 1-1 pitch. But there's somewhere to go on every single play.
Oh yeah, always be moving. Kids, listen up. Don't just stand there flat-footed all the time. Whether you want to be a big league player or a big league umpire, to your point, Dan, get moving.
We were moving up here. We were jumping all over the place.
I was backing you up.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Brandon Nimmo. The fly ball to Bader. Makes the catch. Home plate umpire Jeremy Rehack, and so basically from the track picks it up, and it is the home plate umpire in position to make this call. And in perfect position. Look at where he's at. I mean, he can't be any better to get a look at it.
Look at him go. It's nice work back there.
Job well done. Give credit where credit is due. There's Starling Marte. 0 for 2 today with a walk. 1 out runner at first and a pitch taken high. Mets will enjoy an off day tomorrow. They have the Phillies and Braves coming in. A homestand at Citi Field in New York. That is fouled back, and the Cardinals, their homestand will continue with the first of 4 tomorrow against Arizona. Monday was to be an off day, but that'll be the makeup game against the Kansas City Royals. The 1-1 slowly hit. Cabrera gloves, jumps, throws, and makes the play. So a little off balance, but gets a lead man.
That's it. He attacks, pounces off the mound, and goes and gets it. First of all, it starts with a good pitch. Gets Starling Marte to reach out there. Generally, you'd set your feet a little bit, but he's throwing on the run. He's been watching a lot of Nolan Arenado. I noticed while
maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, while they're taking ground balls, and his is out there saying, "Man, I can do that. I can absolutely do that."
Had a little like Derek Jeter deep in the hole too.
Yeah, of course. That run and gun is catching on.
Jump throw. So 2 outs and a runner at first. Francisco Lindor. First pitch. A strike. Lindor, the switch hitter, is grounded out twice and struck out swinging. Cardinals trying to hold on to have their first come from behind win this season. Generally speaking, last year they were not a good team until they caught on fire at the end of the year in terms of coming from behind in games.
Well, late in the year there was nothing that was going to stop them. During that 17-game winning streak, didn't seem to matter what happened. You had the feeling that something great was going to happen. But to me, that's a hallmark of a good team. You can get behind and never feel like you're out.
And the 0-2. A base hit into the gap in left center. Marte off to the races. No throw. Run will score. 9-5. So 2-out double by Lindor to bring in Marte.
Down and in fastball. Just doesn't quite get it in enough. Dan, that's the difference that you were talking about earlier of the just in on the corner or in that catches a little bit of plate, because Lindor's got the hands. He can catch the one that's on the inner half. A good job by him.
Pete Alonso, and he could make this interesting with one swing. 3 home runs this year. Base hit to right, run scored, part of a 4-run second inning, walked in the third, and fly to left, deep left field. We've seen a lot of 2-out RBIs in this game today and in this series. That was Lindor's first career RBI against the Cardinals. Bit shocking. We saw him come through with the Indians, obviously now with the Mets. That was his 58th career at bat against St. Louis.
That is surprising.
And the 1-0 pitch by Cabrera. Little squibber that's hit to first. Almost popped out of the glove of Goldie. Had a lot of spin on it. And he makes the play. Lindor drives in Marte. Time to stretch. It's 9-5. Fun ball game as the bats have come alive for St. Louis. At one point they trailed 4-1. Tommy Edman, a key hit. Damage done with 2 outs. The ground rule double that scored a run. And then defense. 2 throws that stand out. One by O'Neill, that one by Carlson. And a fun game today. Ewan Lopez, Chevy called to the pen for the New York Mets.
Love how this team has responded today, because it had a feeling early on this one like, uh-oh, here we go again. Fall behind. Matt's not at his best. And they don't let that be the storyline today.
Strike to Yadier Molina. Gateway Honda a home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. The 0-1. Cardinals still 6 outs away, but when you win, when you come from behind and are able to do it, those are the ones that stand out. Here's a 1-1 taken high. So the Mets on the infield with a shift left side and then play Yadi to hit it towards right center in the outfield.
How often have we seen Yadi just take a ball away and shoot it right through that open hole on the right side?
On the 2-1 pitch, it's popped up. Alonso coming in. It'll be Lindor, the shortstop, top of the mound to make the catch. You can see the Mets pitcher Lopez, he just said, I want no part of this. He went right to the bag at first and said, somebody else better take this.
Don't be caught in the middle. It's one way or the other. We had Miles Michaelis. He caught one, which you weren't even sure that he was going to get. I knew he was the best athlete on the field at the moment. But Lopez said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let you boys sort this thing out. I made the pitch. You make the catch.
Sosa deep in the hole. Lindor, long throw and not in time with the speed of Edmundo Sosa. Second time we've seen that from Lindor in this ball game today, making a diving stop but coming up just a bit short.
Just picking the wrong guy here as Sosa moves well, but Lindor, I mean, most shortstops aren't even getting to this ball, aren't going to be able to catch it, make any play on it all. The full extension again. Strong throw across the diamond, just doesn't get Sosa.
And Sosa on base for the second time. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning and now picks up a base hit and thankful. Crowd today 34,822, 34822. Tommy Edman top of the lineup, a 2-hit day. The Cardinals with a total of 12 hits this afternoon. Single to right and scored in the 3rd, and then a double inside the first base line, picked up a run batted in, also lined out, and Sosa back to the bag. Not running is Sosa, and that pitch taken low. It's the threat of the run and the steal. Sometimes get to a pitcher. You see Lopez was pretty quick to the plate there, maybe sped up.
Yep.
Mechanics get out of whack.
Yeah, it causes a couple things. One, you end up spiking the pitch, saw it there. Other times you leave it up because your arm falls behind as your delivery speeds up. There he goes.
Sosa running, hit sharply, and it hit, I believe, maybe Sosa. I think it had to hit him. If not, there's a rock out in the middle of the field, and I definitely don't think that was the case, but it took a different angle, and immediately it looked like they pointed to Sosa as if to say he's out, and apparently he is. It's another hard hit ball by Tommy Edman. Take a look here. Just grazed him.
Yeah, barely.
So that'll be 2 outs. And Tommy Edman, your runner at first base. Put out to the closest fielder on the play, and that is your second baseman. There goes Tommy Edman, and no throw. Cardinals are, without question, going to run this inning. They must have a key or two with Lopez.
Take advantage of it. He's been slow to the plate. You got fast guys that are up. Ollie Marmol wants to be aggressive, get another guy into scoring position.
thing I like about it, too, you do it early in the count and let Goldie get settled in then with an RBI opportunity. And continue to apply the pressure as the shift is on here for Paul Goldschmidt. First pitch was a strike, 2 outs, and a runner at second now. And Goldie singles into right. Here comes Tommy Edman. The 10th run for St. Louis. And they lead it 10-5. 2-hit day for the Cardinal first baseman. If you're not running early, he does not have that opportunity.
No, you nailed it. And this is another one. It's a slider. It's a good pitch. This is down. It's away. But Goldie stays right on it. Drives it that way. Edman is off to the races. I love seeing the aggressive base running here. Cardinals have swiped more bags than any team in baseball.
Cardinals have stolen bases now on 15 consecutive attempts with the stolen base of Tommy Edman. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tyler O'Neill reached on an error back in the first, grounded out to short, struck out swinging, and walked and scored. The 1-1. Late swing there.
To your point, that 15 for their last 15, it's much more than team speed. That is all the prep work beforehand of knowing the tendencies, knowing when to go, knowing how quick each one of these pitchers are to the plate.
A strikeout of O'Neill. The base hit by Goldschmidt to score Tommy Edman extends the lead 10-5 as we head to the 8th.
Studio, Scott Warman with you. And a reminder, coming up after the game, we have Cardinals Live. We'll be joined by Ricky Horton as the Cards bust out and some good defense as well. We'll all talk about it coming up after the game on Cardinals Live as we send it back to Dan and Brad.
All right, Scotty, thank you. Cabrera still in the ball game. Mets seeking their first 3-game sweep in St. Louis in 15 years. Hasn't happened since April of 07. I believe that was the season opening series following the World Championship year. Opened up on a Sunday night, and Chris Carpenter got hurt. And that was kind of a look at things to come for that year. Your ball club, Brad, battled back, made it interesting latter stages of that season to get close to the top, and then kind of ran out of gas in September. Here's a 1-1. By the way, happy birthday to the Cardinals Hall of Famer Chris Carpenter.
It's Carp's birthday today?
Carp's birthday. Better get him something.
It's in the mail. If he's watching, it's coming.
He watches us a lot. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Eduardo Escobar. Fly ball into left, and O'Neill won't get it. Takes a hop off the wall, and Escobar wasting no time into the back at second, and still fairly close plays. The Mets are not taking any chances today with the outfielders after what they've shown earlier in the game. O'Neill with an outfield assist, and Dylan Carlson.
Yeah, you might want to bust out of the box here. Escobar smashes this one, but Tyler plays it perfectly off the wall, gets the big bounce, and comes up firing. No wasted time. Yeah, after you make a play like he did earlier on Canna, after you do what Dylan Carlson did in center field, gunning down Guillorme, you're licking your chops out there anytime the ball comes to you. You want to be on that highlight reel again.
Cardinals had just 14 runs over their last 7 games. And here today they busted out with 10 runs on 14 hits, and they lead it 10-5. Here's Mark Canna. And strike one. Canna 1 for 3. Came up with 2 on, nobody out in the second inning. Popped out to third, singled to right, and also a base hit in the 6th. 2 hits today. Nothing in 2. You have the night game tomorrow. At this point, if it would stay, let's say 10-5 or a bigger lead. It'd be a non-save situation after what happened in game 1. From a reliever's perspective, Brad, do you want to get back out there? Do you want to get Gallegos a little work, or you say, no, we're good, we'll save you, let's move on?
I save him. I'm not worried about him being mentally domed up about what happened. I don't worry about that one bit.
Canna into right over Dylan Carlson. Just enough room to make the catch. Tagging up Escobar from second to third. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
This moment brought to you by Great Southern Bank. With flexible loan options and a dedicated team in your corner, a loan from Great Southern can bring those lifetime investments within reach.
I also think, Brad, that we've seen that Gio, by the end of the year, he's used a ton. Kind of runs out of gas. So with that, save him when you can.
He's not pitching in a 5-run game for me. If I'm Ollie, you trust him. As soon as he gets back out there, you might have a tight game tomorrow against Arizona. You talked about how good their starting staff has been.
Ollie told me the other day, and remember in I think it was game 1 against Miami, 4-run lead and brought him in, and he said, I wanted to bring him in because I wanted the game badly. He said the day before, he said we battled and battled and battled. It was back and forth, remember, in the day game with Milwaukee. And then you're looking at Alcantara the next day. He said, I got to get that win. So I was taking no chances. But more times than not, he said probably 99 out of 100, you're not going to see Gio in a game unless it's close. It's been a fun day here at Busch Stadium. Fans enjoying it. Weather's been perfect. The bats have come alive for St. Louis. The 0-2 pitch. And J.D. Davis stays alive.
J.D. Davis swings through a lot of fastballs against left-handers. I like the idea there of staying with the heat. I'd do it again.
And another 0-2 pitch. Missed in. Outfield is straight away. Davis 0 for 3 today. Couple of strikeouts and a line out to left. Here's a 1-2. Good play by Molina to keep it in front. Escobar back to the bag at third. And a count of 2-2.
You know that thing's going to check up. You really got to work hard. Kids, if you are a catcher, watch how he gets himself squared to the plate, deadens that thing. If he lets that right shoulder open up, it's going to kick off towards the first base dugout. That run scores.
1 out runner at third, and the 2-2 pitch by Cabrera. Did he offer at it? No, as they do appeal. And so from 0-2 to a full count. Cardinals have had Cody Whitley up and throwing in the bullpen. Pitch count at 25 here for Genesis Cabrera. The 3-2 pitch upcoming to J.D. Davis. Ouch. Early in the ball game, Sosa hit by a pitch, and now another Met hit in this series. 6 Mets have been hit.
This is 96 from Cabrera. catches him right there in the shin, foot. Oh, ankle. We saw Davis earlier against Matz. Matz was able to tie him up with a fastball in. That's what Cabrera was trying to do, but just pulled it across and caught him. Oh, you hate to see that.
You do have McNeil on their bench. He can play third. Guillorme, another option to play third for J.D. Davis. Without question, coming out of this game, limping off the field. So with the lefty up, Guillorme, the Cardinals stick with Genesis Cabrera for the moment. And there's McNeil. He'll come in for Davis. In the eighth, St. Louis will have Arenado, Pujols, and Carlson. So Jeff McNeil, the pinch runner. I think you know where I'm going with that, Brad.
Well,
with
it's
6 guys hit in 3 days.
Yeah, with Nolan Arenado leading off. There was bad blood yesterday, both sides, especially the Mets side, with Scherzer screaming over at the Cardinals. I'm sure a lot of frustration boiled over to today. And then, you know, with that one with Davis, we shall see.
It can be policed, but it's got to be done in the right way. Nothing in 2. It kind of takes the wind out of the sails, seeing Davis having to leave the ball game and be tended to in the Mets clubhouse. And the 0-2 pitch by Cabrera. Up the middle, could be 2. Step on the bag, double play. 10-5 St. Louis. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Car Shield. Car Shield cars go farther. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. So Lopez facing Nolan Arenado, who's been on base 4 times. First pitch up and in. Both benches clear. Now the bullpen's racing in from left field and right field. We mentioned it at the end of last inning. We thought this might happen, and now it has.
You knew it was coming. You could feel it this series, specifically yesterday. Nolan Arenado takes that one up and in. It was very evident the intent on that one. He pushes Nito out of the way to try to go after Lopez.
I think to Nolan's point, saying, okay, if you want to do it, there's a way to do it.
Get down.
Yep. Better not be down or be up in my head.
Oh, that's it. Nolan knows. He knew what was coming. There's nothing that he did, obviously, but there is a way to do it. You get the ball down.
It's on the backside or the rear end or the leg.
That's it.
But not at the head. I think that's what Nolan is saying. And you don't think this guy is intense? Goodness. Look at him still staring at Lopez. The guy's racing in from the bullpen as well. Jumping over the fence to get in. I believe that's Giovanni Gallegos. So apparently Arenado has been tossed from this game. Obviously both sides have been warned now.
So Arenado is going to get tossed for this game for getting thrown at.
And I wonder if Stubby Clapp got ejected as well. The first base coach of the Cardinals, I think he was ejected because Willie McGee has just put on a helmet. And now he is standing at the first base coach's box. Well, you thought it might happen today. And if it didn't happen today, it may carry over to Citi Field. And it still might. So there's Stubby Clapp pulling Pete Alonso away, and Stubby ejected in the game. And so Ollie having a word with the crew chief, Mark Wegner. I mean, after last inning when J.D. Davis was hit, you thought, okay, now something's going to happen.
No, you had to. You knew it.
And you thought the guy would be Arenado.
Yep, and Nolan knew it too, and that's exactly what Nolan was saying, yelling to Lopez. So you're going to do that crap, get it down. We'll go up there.
I think that's exactly the message that Nolan is saying is, look, I'm a big boy. I know it's coming, but if you're going to do it, you got to get it down.
For sure.
So Andrew Kisner will come in and hit for Arenado. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and a strike. Kisner, the starter behind the plate. Just one of these games in this 3-game set. The 2-0. Bader on deck. So Stubby ejected and Willie McGee takes over at first base. By the way, in all the confusion, frustration, yelling, pointing, guys getting tackled, here's a 2-1. I saw Skip and Ollie go to Willie. Willie had to get a helmet, and all of a sudden, through all that, right behind the Cardinal dugout, a very, very nice long applause for Willie.
Of course.
He's the one that could deflate everything. Everybody cheering that Willie was taking the field.
Any surprise for you, Dan, that Lopez stays in this game? Even though, you know, he didn't hit Nolan Arenado, his intent was very obvious and evident.
So do you think the reason that Nolan is thrown out is because he incites both benches?
Did he incite, or was it the fastball near his head that incited?
And that's my point. If you're going to throw out Nolan, you might as well throw out Lopez as well. It was the 6th career ejection for Arenado. And for Stubby, that was his first ejection as a player or a coach as he was pulling back Pete Alonso.
I'm a little bit surprised that's Stubby's first ever ejection.
I wonder how many he had as a manager at Memphis. I bet he got after it pretty good.
He got a couple, yeah. But you just fight for his guy. Not that he's a hothead or anything, but he cares about his players.
And the 2-2 pitch. You know, it makes it interesting, though, Brad, and you've been in this spot where now both teams are warned, and say you are a pitcher that wants to throw inside for effect, and you hit a guy and all of a sudden you're getting tossed. I mean, it does change the dynamics for the pitcher on the mound.
It does, and that's where the umpires come into play, and you have to use common sense, and all too often you don't see it. You actually saw some of it last night because there were warnings issued in the ball game yesterday, and there were batters hit after it. But there were sliders. It was, you know, change-ups. It wasn't obvious like that one was of Lopez going after Arenado.
And so to further the point, then, if you're a pitcher, you just got to pitch your game, is what you're saying.
You do. I mean, and the concern is, though, to your point, is fastballs in, which has been a big pitch for the Cardinals in this ball game today. You do worry about that.
And Banner hits it out to left center, off to the races. Harrison to second base, and he'll stop there. A 1-out double here in the home half of the 8th. This first plate appearance, and 1-for-1 on the afternoon. Brendan Donovan will be the pinch hitter. Looking for his first ever big league hit. And Donovan hits it out to left, but tailing back into the glove of Mark Canha. Bader back to the bag at second base, and it brings in Paul DeJong. DeJong is 0 for 4 today. Fly to left, right, popped out to first, and a strikeout. Breaking ball on the first pitch. They've done that time and again with Paul DeJong as Buck Showalter squaring off with Ollie Marmol. Buck's been around a long time. Ollie in his first season. Hit down the left field line and just foul.
It was close right there. As heated as these last couple of games have been, any surprise that Showalter has stayed in these games?
Shocked.
Me too.
Shocked. You know, he's the kind of guy that he's going to protect his players too, and he's old school a little bit. Mentioned that, but also the, you know, the feelings of the new school and trying to integrate both. But the old school comes out sometimes and gets the best of you. You protect your guys. You get after it.
I think that the old school mentality is good for the game. I think you have to integrate both, to your point, but it's good.
By the way, that was Donovan pinch hitting for Carlson. So my guess is Carlson was ejected as well. So he's out of the game. That would be his first ever ejection. That would be my guess. I mean, you're not going to take him out of this game.
You wouldn't think so.
So Stubby, Clapp, Arenado, and then Dylan Carlson all ejected. The 1-2 pitch to Paul DeJong with a runner at second base. And an 0 for 5 day for the Cardinals shortstop. And that will send us to the ninth. Been quite the series here in St. Louis. His versatility definitely coming into play in this game as he's in right field. You got Bader in center, O'Neill in left, Sosa is at third, DeJong at short, Edman, Goldie on the infield, Molina behind the plate. Ryan Helsley is in. It's our Chevy call to the pen. You know, just thinking about it, and Arenado and his reaction. I mean, he threw Tomas Nido like he was an offensive lineman blocking. I mean, he threw him right out of the way, and maybe that's why he's been ejected too.
Maybe. Although quite impressive. One arm on him too. Unlike that intensity, that passion. It's not that he was surprised by what happened. Okay, Nolan knew what was coming in that situation, but he knows that there's a way to do it.
I mean, let's be honest, Brad.
Be careful.
You've been doing this a long time, and a lot of times it's up to the bullpen guys to take care of it. You don't want to have your starter do it going into the game, because then all of a sudden he's out of the game. So then you're leaving yourself vulnerable in your bullpen. So it's a bullpen guy coming in, understanding what needs to be done. And sometimes it's talked about, other times it's not.
Well, sometimes you just don't even need to talk about it.
Exactly.
You kind of know. Now, generally, you spike a slider first and then act like a fastball got away. That's what I've always heard.
Or did.
Seen.
Here's Dominic Smith. So he's the pinch hitter as we start play here in the ninth inning. Cardinals with a shift on the right side. It was Dominic Smith who put the ball in play in game one with 2 outs. That allowed 2 runs to score as Giovanni was tardy getting to the bag at first, and 1 run from third came in, and so did the second from second base. He's proven to be a valuable player for Buck Showalter and the Mets.
How about this guy so far this season? Ryan Helsley has been so good, striking out the world. Good feel for that big breaking ball he just showed you there. He's got the tighter cutter. He runs it up to triple digits.
By the way, we're told that Carlson was not ejected. And the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. 100 from Ryan Helsley. Boy, has he been good at the onset of this season.
Coming into the game, he's striking out over 18 batters per 9 innings, and another one there. So the pitch beforehand that Smith fouled off, it was an 80-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Then you get a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, try to think about that. 20-mile-an-hour difference in these 2 pitches. No wonder you can't catch up.
So 1 out and nobody on. And a pitch taken low. 101 on the gun from Helsley. And the 1-0 pitch to Nimmo. Fly to center. And Bader is there for out number 2. And the final hope for the Mets, Starling Marte. So the Cardinals 1 out away from salvaging at least a game in the 3-game set. Two outs and nobody on. Strike one on Marte. It's grounded to short, walked, struck out, reached on a fielder's choice, and scored back in the 7th. .645 the first pitch tomorrow. And 6 o'clock pregame show here on Bally Sports Midwest. Dakota Hudson as Arizona is in for the first of 4. Nothing at 2. The 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Ground ball hit up the middle. Backhanded by Tommy Edman, and the throw picked out of the dirt by Goldie, and the Cardinals have a 10-5 win. They salvage a game in the 3-game set against the Mets.
What a game it was, too. The Cardinals found themselves in an early hole, down 4-1. They have a 5-run 4th inning, score in 5 separate innings. Bullpen steps up, tempers flare, but the Cardinals salvage 1.
So plenty to get to on the post-game show. Looking forward to the comments. Bali Marmol and the rest of the club. Maybe the throw of the year from Dylan Carlson. And the bats came alive for St. Louis. 10-5 the final for Alexa Dett. Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Don't go anywhere. Plenty of post-game coverage is coming your way.
Series finale against the Mets. Ricky Horton joins us to dissect it all on Cardinals Live. Stephen Matz burned by 1 big inning early today, but I'll tell you how he settled and kept the Cards in it. Plus, the offense busting out this afternoon at Busch. We'll show you all the highlights, and we'll bring you plenty of reaction inside of Busch Stadium. Stay with us. Cardinals Live is coming up next on Bally Sports. Ryan Helsley coming in the 9th gets the final out. Tommy Edman over to Paul Goldschmidt, and the Redbirds won a wild one today at Busch as they avoid the sweep as we open up Cardinals Live. 10-5 the final, the Redbirds over the Mets. And welcome inside our Bally Sports Midwest studios here at Ballpark Village as we open up Cardinals Live. Scott Warman with you. Well, of course, the Cardinals bats very quiet for the first 2 games of this 3-game series. And, of course, things got interesting last night. 5 hit batsmen, and the New York Mets, well, they were none too happy. And as we just saw towards the end of today's game, well, we saw the benches clear. We saw a couple of ejections. We'll talk about that and so much more coming up on this edition of Cardinals Live. Cardinals, of course, busting out the bats in a big way. And a start at the top of the order with Tommy Edman as he picked up 3 hits. He's our Mid-America Chevy Dealer Player of the Game. Let's get to the field. He's with our own Alexa Dett. Alexa?
3 for 5 with an RBI and a couple runs today for you. What were you doing so well at the plate that you were able to have success?
Yeah, just trying to stay within myself. I got up with the runners on a couple times and just trying to not chase around too much. And fortunately, I got some pitches up in the zone.
play of the game was Dylan Carlson without outfield assist. What did you see from your perspective?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, he's got such a good arm out there, and to throw that all the way on the fly is pretty impressive, and especially on the money, too.
Did you guys take a look at that at the dugout when you came back in?
Yeah, I mean, we were all standing outside the dugout right after that, and just giving him a high five, and watched it on video afterwards, and just as impressive as in person.
How impressed were you with your starting pitcher, Steven Matz? Struggled early, but retired the final 5.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job of battling. Obviously, some bounces didn't go his way in that second inning, but he stuck with it and got us through 4, and just did a good job of fighting through it today.
Down 4-1 in this ball game. What does it say about the resiliency of this team to be able to fight back and win?
Yeah, I know our offense hasn't really done a great job the past week or so, but I think hopefully we broke out of it today and just showed what we're capable of when we get hot.
Tommy, there are some tensions in this ball game, a little bit of animosity between these two squads.
Yeah, I think just some pitches that pitchers lost control of. I don't really know what was on purpose, what wasn't, but hopefully we can just put that behind us.
Did you have fun today?
Yeah, great to get that win on the series finale.
Awesome. Thanks, Tommy.
You got it. Thanks.
Back to you.
Alexa, Tommy, thanks so much. So the Cardinals down 4-1 after 2 innings, but as Alexa and Tommy mentioned, they're chipping away, getting a pair in the 3rd inning, and then in the 4th inning, well, Yadier Molina got it started with a leadoff double down the right field line, and the Cardinals kept piling on from there. Tommy Edman again with a 3-hit afternoon as he would score a double there, and the Cards would continue. This wild pitch would go back, and Mundo Sosa would score. And then how about this? Corey Dickerson just legging this one out for an infield single. And the Cardinals still had a rally rolling. And then Dylan Carlson with a big afternoon for the Redbirds, not only defensively but offensively, as he gets a triple here, scores a pair of runs, and the Cardinals bust out with a 5-run 4th inning to take the lead at 8-3, and they cruise to the 10-5 win. All right, so we kind of break down the numbers in this series. There you see the first 2 games, the Cardinals, well, of course, they only get in the 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th on Monday, but look at what happened today. 10 runs, 5 extra base hits, and I think that's a big one down at the second to last row there. Average with runners in scoring position. That's something the Cardinals have really struggled over this last week or so, batting .444, only striking out 9, of course, batting .385 in this final game against the New York Mets, and going up against a pitcher, Carlos Carrasco, has one of the better ERAs in all of Major League Baseball. And the Cardinals got him out early, and of course they got to their bullpen as well. And the Cardinals come away with a victory by a score of 10-5 at Busch Stadium. Ricky Horton joins us from Busch Stadium. And Ricky, that was fun in many different ways this afternoon.
Yeah, well, the story of the game in some people's eyes is going to be the kind of the scrum on the field and Arenado getting angry by having a pitch under his chin. And of course, we understand that. And we also understand that, you know, guys get intense in the game, and that's going to be. But the real story, honestly, the real story is the Cardinals' offense. What they were able to do, being down 4-1 early in a game where you're following 2 games where you didn't have any offense, and then you've got the Mets just pitching lights out here in this series. And I think a lot of credit goes to the Cardinals' offense in general. Yadier Molina got it going with a double in that inning, but being able to bat around and come back after kind of being pushed around a little bit, that was very impressive.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get to the talk of this whole series that started last night. The hits batters, as we had 5 of them, it started with this changeup by Cody Whitley, hitting Pete Alonso. He was not happy, started chirping at Whitley. Then Buck Showalter and some of the Mets started coming out onto the field, and both benches, as we mentioned last night, were warned of this. And then more. There's Ottavino hitting Tommy Edman, but that's a curveball, and you don't think that that's on purpose, right?
Right, nor do I think you're going to hit somebody with the bases loaded. Marte got mad about this. He should have been happy. He just drove in a run. I never got that. But the point is, there were a few more of those today, including this one. This this one hits the foot of J.D. Davis and then up and in on Nolan Arenado. That's what we saw today. And Nolan was looking for an answer. We didn't get the answer he wanted. And I think the more he thought about it, the angrier he got. And Nito tried to kind of stop things, and then Nito was literally brushed aside. And then there was a big scrum right at home plate. And I know that Alonso was one of the guys that was pulled out of the way, and Cabrera was kind of around there helping as well. But I think Stubby, what you do in those situations is you protect your own players. Right. That's what Stubby was doing, is making sure he got a hold of the guy that might have been the maddest on the other team and maybe the biggest on the other team. And Nolan clearly was upset, and a lot of pitches up and in, and the why and the how of that. Of course, Chris Bassett had a lot to say last night about the baseballs are part of the problem. I don't know if that's true or not, or whether it's just guys throwing 100%, or also hitters, as we mentioned in the pregame, hitters having approach now where you're leading with your hands right towards where the pitch is coming, and you don't have as much time to get out of the way, and you've got so many guys throwing in the upper 90s on top of that. But honestly, just it could have been worse. I guess it could have been better too, but the fact that no one was really hurt kind of in that brawl is not even a brawl, a scrum, I think is a good thing.
Well, probably for a Stubby Clapp, he probably looked out for a guy like Alonso. We know Alonso was not happy, and obviously so, for getting hit in the helmet between him and Scherzer. They were the one that were doing the most barking in the game last night. So Stubby's probably trying to, as you mentioned, diffuse the situation. Also, during that scrum, somewhere along the way, Dylan Carlson, I can't find him when we ran the replay. We'll see it here again, but he didn't return to the game. Remember, Brendan Donovan came in to hit for him in the bottom of the 8th and then played over in the right field. Looked at the box score, and it just had Arenado and Stubby Clapp getting ejected, but Dylan Carlson was not a part of the ejection. So hopefully there's nothing wrong with Dylan Carlson as far as an injury or anything concerned during that scrum there in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, Scotty, that was my concern exactly. And what my comment at the time was, I kind of hoped Dylan Carlson got thrown out of the game, because it would be worse if he was stepped on or turned in or something. So we don't know. We're waiting to find out, and I hope we will find out soon if anything did happen. It would be odd to have him come out of that game at that time, because you've got ejections, you've got already used a pinch hitter, you've already gone to your bench, you don't want to use another player. I mean, the game was close enough that you might need somebody later. So the move would not have made sense other than something going on with Dylan Carlson there, and so we'll have to wait and see on it. But at least where I saw, I could not see him involved in anything bad either. In fact, there really wasn't a lot of nobody's throwing punches in this. Nobody was being really agitated. You're just defending your guys. What you said about Stubby, that's what you do. You don't grab your own guy, because that guy's going to become vulnerable. You grab the other guy and try to neutralize him. That's what you do in those situations, and Stubby was just being a good teammate right there.
Well, as we saw, Blues coach Craig Berube was also in the stands, and you don't want to mess with Chief. Luckily, maybe he was already left the game, because he would have really diffused the situation. Well, let's go downstairs, Ricky, to you and hear from the Cards manager, Ollie Marmol. Hopefully we'll get an update on all of this, and it's brought to you by the Painting and Decorating Foundation.
Yeah, that was definition of competition right there. They competed really well. That first game against them was a kick in the gut. The second one straight up beat us. To come out day game and compete the way we did was impressive. I enjoyed watching it.
Ollie, how does it shake out from your perspective in the bottom of the 8th there on the first pitch high inside to Nolan?
I didn't love it at all.
Do you take exception to the way that it was done?
I do, entirely. When you come up top like that and jeopardize someone's career in life, yeah, I take exception to that. And I don't think anyone in the big leagues appreciates getting thrown up top. Nolan has every right to react the way he did and go after him, and we'll protect that.
Do you have an explanation as to why you guys got ejected and it didn't seem like any of theirs did?
No, I'd like one though. Yeah, I'd like an explanation for it, because the one I got wasn't good enough.
Dude, can you share with us the one you got on the field? Do you feel comfortable saying that?
No, but the one I received wasn't good enough. I'll just leave it at that.
What was the roll call? Stubby and
Stubby
Nolan
got ejected.
And the Dylan?
And no, Dylan came out, his foot, his toe, he jammed it, hit him first. His last at bat, he played through it a little bit and then came out of the game. The other ejection was Nolan. Yeah, so Carlson was not ejected.
Is he all right, though?
Yeah, he's fine. I just got an update on that, and he's okay.
He jammed his toe doing...
First base.
Okay.
And this goes to things. Stubby trying to clear the area is ejected for his actions then?
No doubt about it. I just watched the video. He's making sure that guy doesn't come after one of ours. He's holding him back. I don't see an issue with it at all. I watched this several times before coming in here, and he's keeping their guy from getting on top of one of ours. So I'm okay with it.
What's your choice? Oh, so go ahead.
Given the way that Nolan comes up in that situation, up 5 runs, probably the last time you guys are going to get up to bat, do you or your team have an inkling that something like that is coming?
I think my 4-year-old had an inkling it was coming. Yeah.
Did you consider pulling Nolan so that he wasn't in that situation, or is that something you just have to send him up?
No.
Holly's 4-year-old knew it was coming. That's great.
Well, she's pretty smart. She's been around baseball her whole life. I think that's part of it. But, I thought, again, there's another perfect example of Ollie Marmol just giving it, shooting it straight, telling you exactly what he thinks. And, people are going to have different opinions on it. Sure. And when you compete, and he did start by saying it was a highly competitive game, 2 teams very good, and kind of makes me start thinking about the 80s again with the Mets and the Cardinals and the kind of amped up emotions here at the ballpark. But Ollie kind of didn't shy away from, at least his opinion. It's like he didn't like the way the umpires handled it. He didn't like the end result of him having 2 guys tossed. And it is good to hear that, not good to hear, but it's makes more sense to hear about Dylan Carlson, that he actually had that play at first base and it had nothing to do with what happened on the field, and that's why they took him out of the game. So and it sounds like he's going to be fine. And apparently x-rays were negative on Davis, who was hitting the ankle. So yeah, I know the Mets are tired of getting hit. There's no question. They've been through this a few times already, so this is not new territory for them, and maybe it's just part of their personality as a team right now. And certainly they've got a very good team, and they pitch well and they hit well.
Wild one at Busch today as the Cardinals come out on top 10-5. Here comes the bullpen. We have more Cardinals live when we come back on Valley Sports. Cardinals Live on Valley Sports is brought to you by Steel. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. Cards win it today 10-5, and we saw Ricky Horton some defense from the Gold Glover Tyler O'Neill.
A lot of topspin, too.
He just gave up his body on this one. He lost his sunglasses, but he held on to the baseball. And then how about this throw from Tyler O'Neill? He's smelling that right about now. Boom. Got quick release. Boom. On the money. Boom. Tag him in the face. He's out. I mean, this was a terrific play again by Tyler O'Neill. So those Gold Gloves are well earned, and he's well on his way to another one with the way he's playing in the early going.
Yeah, remember we saw, what was it, a couple days ago, Harrison Bader throwing someone out. And of course, more times than not, it doesn't mean that you have to throw it in the air. Hitting a line and doing one hop over to that infielder is just perfect. But we also saw a great defensive play where it didn't hit the ground. And it kind of reminded us of our buddy and our partner here at Valley Sports Midwest, Rick Ankiel. We go back in time in Colorado, Mile High City. We all remember Rick with his rocket arm from center field.
Well, he made 2 throws from center field. This one's right on the money. Boom, a little bit more on a line, and that is an out. But this is the one, and this is almost flat-footed. I mean, he's on the warning track about where Carlson was, and the throw was right on the bag, and Troy Gloss ends up giving him the baseball with this throw. I mean, this is just an incredible throw from Rick Ankiel. I thought the same thing today when we saw what we saw from Dylan Carlson. How do you not think about that? Because it's Carlson's turn today. Ball hit over his head in center field. He tried to make a Willie Mays catch over the shoulder. Can't get to it. But here he is very near the warning track. Same type throw, 97 miles an hour. a little bit outside, but a pretty good strike right into third base. And that outfield assist by Dylan Carlson is his 3rd of the year. And he and Bader and O'Neill have been playing extraordinary outfield. And I don't just throw that word around lightly. I mean, outfielders, you know, they're good outfielders, and then they're plus outfielders. And the Cardinals, I think, have 3 of them right now, and that makes their team go. I mean, they have so much ability to plug gaps and, of course, to throw out runners at bag. 2 outfield assists in the same inning. Jake Woodford faced 3 batters that inning, gave up 2 hits, and faced the minimum. Well, how did he do that? He did that with help from his friends.
Well, Ricky, you just mentioned, as we take a look at the outfield defense for the Cardinals, there's a 19 defensive runs saved for Tyler O'Neill since 2020, since 2019. Harrison Bader, no surprise, really, because we get to see him every day. 29 outs, above average, and Dylan Carlson really starting to come into his own, getting that start in center field as Bader got the day until towards the end of the game here this afternoon with 15 outfield assists already in his young career. That's pretty amazing at such a young career, just 2+ seasons, that he's been able to do that.
Yeah, let's hope that whatever Dylan did today, apparently, as Ollie Marmol said, he did it hitting the base, hitting first base on just running through the bag. Let's hope that's not a major thing, because honestly, he has been doing a lot of things at a higher level than even a year ago, and 3rd in the National League Rookie of the Year balloting last year. But I think his arm is better. I think his range is better in the outfield. I think he's more confident, and when he runs balls out in the infield, he's flying down the line too. I think he's running faster. I mean, he's just really been making heavy strides here, and it's just good to see him continue to develop, and all of the outfielders really just keep being more and more comfortable that they're the best in baseball. I think they want to be the best in baseball, and I'd be hard-pressed to say who's better.
Speaking of Gold Gloves, of course, Nolan Arenado has really got a ton of Gold Gloves and being pitched inside in today's game. Let's go to Busch Stadium right now and hear from the Cards' third baseman.
I thought so. You know, what's it called? Just got beam in the ankle. It was kind of like the last straw there because he got taken out of the game. I thought so, yeah. I thought it was coming. I mean, I had a feeling it was coming.
When it's in that area, is that what
I think that's more the problem, yeah. That's the problem. Like, I get it. I get what's going on in this series, and it's part of the game, but a little high.
I mean, that's how close it was.
I mean, I don't know how close it was. It felt high. It just felt close. It was just high.
So there's a way to take care of that, right? Without buzzing somebody up high, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's trying to throw it up there. It's just the ball got away, but that's the problem with that stuff, you know. But listen, it's unfortunate, you know. It's an unfortunate part of the game, but it is part of the game, you know. And it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, they won the series. They played better baseball than us, and it was good to come out with a win today, though.
Is there a valve there for you to express your frustration with that, or do you feel like you're just
No, I mean, no, I don't know. I just didn't like where it was at. You know, like I said, I figured it was coming. It is what it is. I just didn't like where it was at.
Is that what you're trying to communicate to Lopez in that moment?
Yeah, just go lower.
Do you know Lopez from your time with the Rockies?
Just face him in the Diamondbacks. You know, he's got a good arm. He's got a good arm with a good slider. I mean, they all got good arms over there, man. They're all really good, and he's got a good arm, and yeah.
Before the fight, the way you guys manufacture runs, hitting ball the other way, a bunch of singles, I mean, is that how you get an offense going the way you guys did today?
Yeah, I mean, it was just really good baseball against a good pitcher. We faced some good arms with these guys. These guys are good, and you know, it was just good to see us come back and battle, being down, and just see us rally. You know, I feel like we haven't done that this year, and to come back and rally like that, it was really great to see. And it was just a really good team win today. We needed it. We came out with some fire today. We didn't want to get swept, and that was a good step.
What did you see from Dylan's assist from your perspective?
From who? Sorry?
Dylan.
Carlson, right? Oh, yeah, sorry. We usually call him DC. Sorry, I totally forgot his name. But he's awesome. You know, that was great. He had a great swing today. We need those from him. You know, I know hasn't been feeling great, but it's just a matter of time for him. And then obviously the play was unreal. Obviously, I mean, just an unbelievable throw. You know, it's rare to see those. I remember like Cespedes, you know, made one out there one time. You know, a couple of guys, but that was a big time throw.
As a third baseman, would you expect to see a ball, a guy on the fly be able to do what Dylan did there?
I mean, sometimes they just launch it and you just hope it gets there. It's rare for it to be right on line. That's what made that play so special. It's hard to do, but you gotta give Dylan credit. It was a great play and Sosa with a great tackle.
Hey Nolan, can you describe if, or assuming when O'Neill gets back to being the O'Neill from last year, that can benefit the whole middle of the lineup?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a few guys that aren't feeling as comfortable as they want, and it's just a matter of time. Today was a good step, good rally. It's good to see everyone have good at-bats against, like I said, a good team. And, I think it's just a matter of time for us to get going. And I think once we do, we'll start to see real better baseball.
Nolan, what do you make of how this series kind of played out? That first game, you guys took the lead late after a shorter pitch in a while better at the ballpark than yesterday, and then today it kind of come back around.
Yeah, well, it was big. Obviously, game one, I feel like I kind of blew that one, so that hurt. And then game two, Bassett just pitched a great game, and we just couldn't rally. And it feels like the last few days since Cincy, we haven't been able to rally runs and get things going. So I mean, we could have not easily, but we felt like we could have won this series, and we didn't play our best baseball. So I think that's a good sign. I feel like our best baseball's come.
So Nolan and the Cardinals tie a season-high 10 runs, a season-high 15 hits, and Nolan had 3 of those this afternoon, and Ricky Horton also got on base 4 times with a walk as well.
Yeah, and actually handled himself very well in the post-game presser. On top of that, I mean, it was a nice game for him. First time a Cardinal was intentionally walked all year was, or not all year, but at least through the first 17 games was Arenado today. But he ends up going 3 for 3, driving the ball the other way, picks up 3 RBIs, and teammates appreciate what Dylan was able to do. But he also did a nice job of communicating, as I mentioned. And there's the double, the ground rule double to left. That was an RBI double, and he's been producing 17 RBIs now for Nolan on the season. But Nolan talking about, I just didn't like it up and in, and I knew it was coming. I think there are several Cardinals that felt like, okay, here it comes. I mean, you get a guy hurt, he's got to come out of the game. Okay, it's part of it, but for it to be kind of rib high versus head high is, I think, the distinction that Nolan was upset about, understandably, and he understands it's part of the game too. So, he's not whining about it. He's just expressing that he didn't like the how it was handled by the Mets pitcher, and yet he did give praise to the Mets for being a good team and being tough to beat in this series, which they were.
And how many times have we seen the former Hall of Fame manager here in St. Louis, Tony La Russa, say, hey, you got to pitch inside. He never had any problem with it. Once you get above the shoulders, that's when you got a problem with it. Exactly what Nolan Arenado has said, and probably most players, not all players in Major League Baseball, along with managers.
Yeah, Tony and I used to talk about this all the time, because one of the things I always told Tony was, I said, okay, you say pitchers should never throw up, and then they said, but if you're trying to crowd him inside and up, sometimes they do get away, and Nolan did refer to that. He said, yeah, it gets away. You still don't like it, and you're still mad about it, but the point is, pitchers are men and not machines, just like hitters are, and so Tony would say it should never happen, and I'd say, well, guys should never miss getting a bunt down either, but they do. I mean, they're human beings. Hitters are, fielders are, pitchers are, and so sometimes it does get away. I think it got away with Cody Whitley yesterday. That kind of got what started this. Ball, I think, slipped out of his fingers. It was a changeup, didn't have the right grip on it, and it came out high and arm side and hit Alonso in the head, and again, just a changeup at 88, and he couldn't get out of the way of it. So it does show how the velocity has really changed this game, where hitters just don't have time, Scotty, to get out of the way.
Well, you mentioned Pete Alonso. Let's get to the Mets clubhouse right now and hear from the Mets first baseman. It's brought to you by SNY.
Yeah, I mean, getting domed up isn't fun. It's obviously not safe. It's dangerous, and there's consequences, whether it's on purpose or not. And we're going to stand up for ourselves. And I'm totally for standing up. I'm not just for standing up for myself. I'm totally for standing up for teammates. But kind of what happened today, it just didn't make sense. The ball wasn't even close. And I mean, it's something got started for no reason. It wasn't even close. I know it's a 5-run ball game, but like we're trying to come back. To me, the whole thing didn't even make sense.
To get tackled by a coach in the way that he did, I mean, what was going through your mind in that moment?
Well, I mean, again, I got pulled from behind. Actually, Genesis Cabrera grabbed me by the back of the collar, and then he just ripped down, and then the coach just kind of jumped on me, and I thought that was kind of cheap going from behind. I mean that's if you want to hold me back, if you want to restrain me, go at me like a man.
The Cardinals manager just said that he actually had no issue with the way the coach tackled you to the ground. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, I totally understand because I'm a big guy, I'm a big, strong guy, and obviously the manager wants to have protection for his team and his staff, and I totally get it. And for me, like, I'm a big, strong guy. They don't know, like, my temper. They don't know what I could do. I mean, if I wanted to put someone in the hospital, I easily could, but I was just out there trying to protect my guys.
At the moment last night when you were hitting the head, what's in that flash of a moment, seconds, and then you get up and go to first, what's running through your mind there? I just can't comprehend. I'm not a pitcher, but I just can't comprehend guys missing that badly. I mean, it's not even close. I'm 6'3", I'm a tall guy. And I know guys are getting incentivized to throw hard, throw up, and all that. But I just don't know how the miss is that bad. For me, it's just kind of a head scratcher that guys, big leaguers, can miss that badly. And for me, it's a head scratcher. I don't know what the issue is, but for me, this has been an issue since there's kind of been a crackdown. It happened to me. I got hit in the face against San Diego last year. Thank God for the chin flap. Happened with Kevin Pillar last year. Everyone remembers that one. But obviously, Francisco got hit. I've gotten hit twice. And all my years playing baseball, like, this has never been an issue until the past, to the past year. So for me, I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
How would you characterize the general feel about everything that's going on in this room right now? Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it something beyond that? I mean, what is the feel right now with what you guys have had to deal with?
Well, everyone's just sticking together, and for me, I just think that every one of us has each other's backs. And again, I can't imagine going into battle with anybody else. I mean, I have some unbelievable teammates. I have some unbelievable staff. And for us, it's just, you know what, on to the next one. I mean, it happened, but we don't take this stuff lightly. We don't take getting hit in the head, whether if it's on purpose or on accident. Guys are still getting hit in the head. Doesn't matter. It's like, for me, like if someone T-bones you, right? Oh, it was an accident. Oh, you still flip someone's car over, right? So it doesn't matter where the intent is. The fact of the matter is that it's still happened. So for me, it's frustrating that it's happening, and I feel like for us, we've been hit a lot more than everybody else. And also, like, yeah, I got hit in the head, and then JD had to come out today from another hit by pitch. I mean, it's balls are coming in 97, 98, 100 miles an hour. And I wish that anyone else that on the outside that doesn't understand, I wish you could understand what it's like between the lines when you see that ball coming in at you that fast. You just don't understand until you stand in the box.
Why do you think it's happening?
And again, thanks to our friends at Sportsnet New York for the audio from Pete Alonso there in the Mets clubhouse. He's obviously very frustrated. By the way, mark your calendars. May 16th, game one of a 4-game series in New York, Ricky.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't go through with his veiled threat there about sending somebody to the hospital because he can. I mean, I thought that was an awkward thing that he said, but he said a lot of good things, and I defended him when he got hit in the head. I said I'd be mad too. I mean, nobody likes that. Of course he's going to be mad about that, but I think he also said something that was telling there when he said, I'm not a pitcher. He could have stopped right there because he's not a pitcher, and so he can't understand why a pitcher misses a target by 2 feet. Guess what? It happens 40 times a game, 50 times a game. Every ball in the dirt, every ball that's supposed to be inside that's outside, every ball that's supposed to be on a corner that's high and away and back to the screen. You know, pitching's not easy either. Hitting's not easy, pitching's not easy, and you're going to miss your spot. Now, is that scary when it's up and in? Absolutely. And but I think the fact that, you know, being in the skin of a pitcher, you still got to pitch in. You got to pitch Starling Marte in, period. You go in, you're going to hit him sometimes, not on intent, but you're going to miss by, in his case, maybe 6 or 7 inches. And doing that from 60 feet, 6 inches, if you are a pitcher, you understand that that's not always easy.
Speaking of pitching, the former Met, Steven Matz, going up against his former mates. When we come back on Cardinals Live, we will hear from the Cards lefty Mats and the Birds take the finale 10-5 today at Busch. Cardinals Live on Bally Sports is brought to you by CarShield. CarShield cars go farther. Steven Matz getting the start, his second at Busch Stadium, and beware of the big inning, it says there, and how happily put. Remember his first start as a Cardinal on April 10th, that Sunday, against the Pirates. He had that third inning after having a successful first and second inning. Today, it was the second inning where he gives up 4 earned runs, but there you see his numbers through 15 2/3 innings. So it's been that one big inning in his 2 starts here at Busch Stadium. Meanwhile, Ricky Horton kind of evened himself out and really handled things. We've been talking about pitching inside. He did a nice job pitching inside the right-handed hitters today.
Well, the game changed when Oliver Marmol came out to talk to him and didn't take him out. I feel like that, I mean, he showed some support of him, and Matz did nothing but put up zeros after that. He got a nice play from Tyler O'Neill, but he had 2 zeros, and the bullpen took over. But he does pitch inside very well. He's just dotting that inside corner and a little bit off that plate, and that sets up the changeup and the curveball. But Ollie not taking him out, I thought that was key. He supported Matz. In fact, when that was going on, they had opened the bullpen gate. The thought was the bullpen guy was coming in. I mean, I think everybody thought there was going to be a change of pitchers at that point. He was up. He threw a lot of pitches in that second inning, and you're right. It's a lot like that first start here at Busch Stadium that came against the Pirates, I believe, where he had that one bad inning. And so, again, a bad inning for Steven Matz, but he did not fold. Those 2 innings that he put up after that gave the Cardinals a chance to come back, which they did.
All right, Ricky, let's go to the Cardinals clubhouse right now and hear from the Cards lefty.
Not really. I can tell by his demeanor. I was feeling really good, you know, even the inning before. If I can get your ground ball and be out of the inning. So I was happy he left me in because I was feeling pretty good.
I was going to ask you about that play. That's a play you would ordinarily think you could make, right?
Yeah, that one's going to haunt me for a little bit, but I'm just happy we won and it didn't end up affecting us, the outcome of the game.
If you let it go, does DeYoung get it anyway?
I didn't look at it really enough to see, but maybe so. But, I mean, that's the ball that I got to catch. So.
But then after that, did you lose any focus just for a second there? The next game,
no, I mean, I feel like I made a good pitch to Nito. You know, his first pitch hack, and it was out of the zone. He put a good swing on it, so I could give him credit there. And then same thing with Nemo. You know, down and away, fastball, he put a good swing on it. Got 2 strikes on him. So, no, I don't think so.
On the other hand, you take some pride in the fact you pitched 2 good innings to get him to the point where the game wasn't over yet. You know, you kept them.
Yeah, I think you're taking positive stuff out of it. I think that's something you can take from that type of start.
Steve, did you fight to stay in the game? I mean, Ollie came out and you guys had a conversation. Were you working to stay in there?
You know, once the conversation got going, you know, he was kind of feeling me out, and I was just reassuring him that I felt good and feel like I could make some pitches, and, you know, I was happy he did that.
No one said the team was upset with the way the first 2 games went. You came in today wanting to, you know, show that you play better baseball. Did you get a sense of that from your teammates?
I think so, yeah. I think, you know, these guys came out, the bats came out alive today. They made some great plays defensively. You know, it was a good win.
What did you make of the tensions just flaring, especially with that being your former team and a lot of the guys over there?
Yeah, it's emotional. You know, when you get pitches up around your head, it's scary. So, I mean, I don't really take much out of it other than, you know, it's an emotional game, and it happens.
Does stuff like that linger when you go back to New York, or you wait and see?
You kind of wait and see.
All right, we take a look at the game summary and the Cardinals' 10-5 victory over the Mets, 10-15-0. So the Redbirds leave 9 runners on base, 5-11-1 for the Mets as they leave 6 runners on. Steven Matz, as you see there, going 4 innings. Jake Woodford in relief picks up his first victory of the season. 3 hits, as we mentioned, for Nolan Arenado and 2 for 3 for Dylan Carlson. Let's get right back to the Cardinal clubhouse and hear from the Cards outfielder.
Just helping the team win, honestly. You know, getting a good win there today was huge, and something we'd like to build off for sure.
Can you describe the throw? I mean, when you pick the ball up with your hand, are you thinking, I'm throwing him out at third?
Yeah, it was definitely the initial thought. I mean, obviously the initial thought off the bat was catch the ball. That didn't happen, and then it turned into a different play. And yeah, I knew they were going to be aggressive in that situation, so I just came up throwing for sure.
You see that was 97.2 miles an hour out of your hands. Did you know I know you used to be a pitcher, but did you know you could throw that hard?
Nah, honestly, man, I don't know. game kind of, you know, just gets you going. And in that situation, I was just trying to make an accurate throw.
The last 2 games were so tough for the Cardinals offensively. Can you describe the importance of today's breakthrough for so many of you and your teammates?
Yeah, it was nice. You know, guys are grinding. You know, we're going up there competing, so to get some results and to be able to, you know, reflect it on the scoreboard, it was nice to see. And guys really competed today. Tommy had a great day. Dickerson, Goldie, so many guys. Nolan, just all down the list, and it really showcased what our offense can do.
I know all those guys were taking a look at the throw back in the dugout. What was the reaction they saw?
Yeah, they were excited. Like I said, I was just happy to contribute and you know, pick up Woody there in that situation.
Tommy just said you guys weren't happy with the way the previous 2 days went. You knew you were a better ball club. Did you kind of come in with an edge today? Did you sense that among the group?
No doubt. We were going out there, you know, obviously trying to win a ball game like every day, but definitely wanted this one today for sure. Yeah, no, it's something I've had before. I'll be good to go, no worries. But yeah, just a little rest and ice, and I'll be good.
Just against the base?
No, I was on the foul ball before I hit that the line drive up the middle. The pitch before, I just kind of got it stuck in the box. But yeah, no, it'll be all good to go.
The home runs aren't really coming right now, but the way you guys generated offense going the other way, stringing a bunch of singles together, how good was it to see, you know, that a way to generate offense?
Yeah, it was awesome. Shows what this lineup's capable of. We feel like we could beat teams a lot of different ways, and this was one of those ways today.
Dylan, I can't get over the throw. I'm just gonna where does it rank for you?
Oh, it's up there for sure. Yeah, I've had one similar before, but didn't have the metrics or anything to prove it. So you know, to do it now with everyone watching was pretty cool.
It's the second hardest throw by a Cardinal. Jason Hayward went 98 in 2015.
Okay.
Like that, so
Okay, that's very cool.
And since 15.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you.
More coming up on Cardinals Live as the homestand continues. First of 4 tomorrow against the Diamondbacks. We'll preview it when we come back. Well, after the victory for the Cardinals this afternoon against the Mets, Ricky Horton, the homestand continues for St. Louis. First of 4 coming up on Thursday against the Diamondbacks. Our coverage gets underway at 6 o'clock. Dakota Hudson getting the Game 1 start.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks are not off to a good start. They have not been hitting very well. Dakota Hudson was really good his last time out, but you can't take anybody lightly. You got to keep playing hard, and hopefully have more of the offense that we saw today.
All right, Ricky, let's get to your final thoughts.
Well, the gold star today goes to the Cardinals offense. A game that was 4-1. Mets, they had just pounded the Cardinals 2 straight days. A big comeback win, but the Cardinals offense responded. 7 runs in the 3rd and 4th innings. Again, they get the gold star. Outstanding accomplishment today for the Cardinals offense.
Homestand, as we mentioned, continues tomorrow. First of 4 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Our coverage tomorrow night starts at 6. We'll see you then here on Bally Sports.